Happy Friday to everybody. Actually, Friday the 13th, guys. I'm repping, my boy Jason here. Big fan of Friday the 13th, my second favorite horror franchise. We're not here to talk about that, though. Here to talk about some motherfucking football. Nico in the house, and a special appearance. First timer, popping that cherry. Tom D. We call him TD around here. Or at least, Nick, you call him TD. Is that right?
I do. I've had the nickname Big Dog for a long time, but we kind of stick with Nick O or O Face on here. And TD, man, bringing in the touchdowns. He's hit a few touchdown parlays for me, and it just feels right, man. Anytime you want to talk about fantasy, you want to talk about TDs, he's your guy. Beer and TDs.
Welcome, Tom. You excited to be on? I know you love football. You're a Cowboys fan, unfortunately, though. I hear that.
Ooh. Correct. No, very excited to be on the show. Can't confirm. I'm a Dallas fan.
Oh, you know what I saw today on what is it? Poly Market, I want to say Poly something or another. There is a better chance in 2027. There's a 4% chance that Jesus Christ comes back to earth, and there's a 2% chance the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl. So I'm just saying the return of Jesus Christ is more likely than Dallas in the Super Bowl next year in LA.
Oh yeah, you'll find gambling degenerates in all facets of the world.
Well, we all know betting on the Cowboys in general, and definitely Cowboys future bets, are not a good play because they're a very public team, and you want to stay away from all Cowboys bets. I will say this, man. My brother-in-law, Nick, you know Mark very well, big Cowboys fan. They're an easy team to hate. Their fans are generally idiots. Their owner's a fucking moron. But I actually like the direction they're going in. I love the Parsons trade. Definitely now. After the fact, the ACL injury. Yeah. But if you guys get Max Crosby, dude, and I think you will, and if you keep Pickens just for this year, I feel like you have a chance. And literally, we just saw Seattle 7.5 over/under win total. We just saw the Patriots coming off a 4-win season with no weapons and essentially a rookie quarterback in Drake May go to the Super Bowl. So why can't it be Dallas, Tom? Why can't it be Dallas? Tell them why it can be.
I mean, as of right now, the biggest thing holding them back is that defense by a mile. Obviously, early in the season, wasn't a huge fan of the Parsons trade just because that was the semblance of our defense. And when you take and look at all the data points and stats without Parsons in the lineup versus with him, he accounts for roughly 6 points. It was 5 to 6 points on average per games that he plays a full game in and a full allotment of snaps. So that was always the biggest thing holding us back. And I think you saw that well on display this year. Just with the way the Dallas' offense operated and the struggles that they would constantly put themselves in on defense. So that's the big reason why. But again, like you said, I do think they're moving in the right direction. The ability to get Quinnen Williams and fortify up that interior defensive line, put him next to Oso Digizua and obviously Kenny Clark, who we got in the Parsons trade. The run defense shot up after that midpoint in the season. The Pickens thing, I think, is going to happen. At least from a tag perspective, there's been a lot of talks about tag and trade, which I find a little surprising, just the fact that you would make that move. Typically, Dallas isn't a big franchise when it comes to setting up capital and sending out capital to acquire players. We saw it with Cooper when they made that trade midway point of the season, come up to the deadline, and the first thing that they did was get him signed to a longer term deal. Now, granted, it didn't work out, but when Dallas isn't one to spend money. We see it in free agency. We see it, draft capital, so on and so forth. So when they do make a move, I would like to believe that they're more inclined to keep that player. And obviously you saw the production from Pickens last year, everything that he did, and even for fantasy purposes. So all of that just compiled with the fact that he, at least from what I'm seeing in a lot of the circles right now, is he wouldn't net more than a second. And I don't think that's good return on investment. Granted, you traded a third for him, but the return on investment.
Well, I gotta say this: do you want George Pickens on your roster? A lame duck situation, right? That's essentially like divorcing your wife and wanting to sleep in the same bed with her for a year. That's a nightmare situation.
Right.
And George Pickens is not a player that has showed us the ability. Go back to Georgia days, man. Dude's a baby, dude's a bitch. I love George Pickens.
Yeah.
He's immature. He's gonna pout. He pouted this year, just when they said originally they weren't gonna resign. They just said it, and he pouted, right? And I know like the year was pretty much over at this point, but George Pickens is also trying to sell himself, and he did it this year. And it was for fantasy owners, was awful because if he had just tried those games, he would not have had 3 for 36 or whatever the fuck it was. And it was frustrating. And this is the reason that George Pickens was a 3rd-round pick, I believe, in the NFL draft, was a 1st-round talent. This is the reason why you guys got him for a 3rd-round pick. Like it's all up here, right? It's nothing on the field. He's just a baby back bitch. To say it very simply. Oh,
the emotions are all over the place. And again, outside of a select few, how many wide receivers do you see, 40, 50 yards downfield, interception just happened, and instead of running down the play or attempting to, he just body slams the corner?
There's so many diva receivers out there, man. They all get caught up in their emotions and their feelings, and they're the most important one in the world. And what I like in the Dallas situation is that Pickens is not the alpha. CD is. He's not the one. He doesn't have the right, I don't think, to stomp his feet and cry and complain when you got somebody across the field from you that's an even more talented receiver, and he's not acting that way. So act like you've been there before, Pickens. Go out and produce in this offense with Ferguson and CD, and hopefully the run game comes back again. They're like Tom said, they're just a defense away. I mean, it's only 5 or 6 players they need on D.
And make some goddamn money, George. Make some fucking money. Like he's going to make money regardless, even if he pouts, but he has a chance to make buka bucks, right? Top 3, top 5 money in the league. If he just plays does this year, he had this year, right? Replicate 2025. And he's making, you know how it is with a salary cap and contracts, they always get higher. And he would be in that perfect situation of just getting paid by a team like the Raiders.
Let's put 40 burgers up all week next year, Dallas. 40 burgers. All year, every
week.
It.
We got Dakota in here. Just finished an underdog draft for 2026. You are a sicko, bro. Because I am a sicko, but I don't do underdog until May. I gotta wait till the NFL draft's over. Because once I start with these things, they're addictive. You can't stop. And you're drafting rookies without knowing their landing spots. It's wild. I can't believe they have those. Man, good for you, Dakota. That's why Dakota's a professional fanatic. You know what I mean?
That's it. Way to be.
He is.
Get after it. We love a fellow degenerate.
We love it. And okay, this is Tom's first show. So we have an opening, man, next year. So we'll see how you do. No pressure, but we'll see how you do. And then maybe join the crew.
Our operation is small, but there's a lot of potential for aggressive expansion. So which of you fine gentlemen would like to join our team? Oh, there's only one spot open right now, so we're gonna have tryouts.
It's Nico. He's a very big guy. He's a teddy bear, but he's a big guy. I wouldn't fuck with him.
Yep. You're gonna have to fight somebody else off, Tom, not me. I ain't the one.
Maybe I'll take my job and I can just have vacations and just get like royalties from the show. Anyways, we haven't talked about the Super Bowl at all. Nico, you weren't on after the Super Bowl. We both had Seattle in the game 23-17. A little bit more of a spread than that at the final score, but I feel like it was actually the score was not as indicative as the ass whooping we just saw in that game. So, Nick, I'm going to start with you. Give me your thoughts, and also the Drake May. I don't know if you heard. Drake May apparently had a really bad shoulder injury. They're really pushing that on us. And then Mason, the hell's left tackle? I'm freezing up on here.
Will Campbell.
Will Campbell.
Yeah, sorry. Will Campbell was playing with a torn MCL or partially torn MCL. They always bring these out to the forefront after the fact they get their ass whooped. How much do you put stock into that for the reason they lost? Because I feel like on all 3 phases they got destroyed.
Yeah, I got a few feelings about that. One is they put out there that May had his shoulder numbed, and that's gonna affect the quarterback any way you slice that. And what May said though is no excuses. Don't care. I got it shot up. I didn't make the throws I needed to make. So mad respect for May in that regard. He's not taking anything away. He's owning it. He's doing exactly what a leader should do on a team. Vrabel is leading him the correct way. And so not not dogging May, not making excuses. He's not making them. Just wasn't his day. Too young, not there yet. Experience isn't there. That Seattle defense was swarming like crazy. As far as Campbell, though, was he playing with an injury all year? Because he was pretty inconsistent all year. And I don't think that injury made his arms any shorter. And that was the problem coming out of the draft. Can he really be a left tackle? Can he really reach? Can he really set the edge? And I think you saw him exposed against some really good D linemen. One of which being that former Cowboy. It's got hurt a little bit with DeMarcus leaving. I couldn't imagine him next to Quinnen. That'd be pretty nasty, just saying. And I don't know. With Campbell, maybe the injury played a part. But like I said, he was inconsistent a lot of the year. With May, the injury, I imagine absolutely had to. You numb my shoulder up and ask me to throw a ball, I'm going to have a problem with that. But the fact that he didn't lean on that and he didn't buy into any of that and just owned it, like they got their asses handed to him and they took it like a champ. And I did not want to see New England win again. And every Niner fan I know is rooting for New England, but I was not that guy, man. I was rooting Seattle. I'm happy to see Sam Darnold get his. And those New England will be back again, I think.
Could be a Dan Marino situation, though. I mean, you don't know. The AFC
could be a lot of guys.
We've had arguments in the show about the AFC. The AFC is tough, man. It's tough. The whole league is tough, is the point, and it's just going to get tougher because these quarterbacks play forever now, and there's always influx of talent. This year's only one guy with Mendoza, most likely, but next year's class, 2027 class, looks unreal. Looks similar to the Caleb Drake May class. So, like, you're looking at 20, possibly 20, and also you have guys like Trevor Lawrence, who may have finally found his niche with Liam Cohen, like just Caleb Williams coming into his own. You know, the Packers, Jordan Love is still pretty young. So, Tom, the Seahawks, 7.5 win over-under is insane. To both these teams with their over-unders going into the year to make the Super Bowl. But the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, and they won it going away, right? They were the best team all year. They beat the Rams. They looked great in the playoffs. They destroyed the 49ers. Sorry about the Nico.
Yep.
But
did.
Do you believe it? Is this sustainable? I mean, Sam Darnold, they have the recipe. Right? Typically, the recipe is, a rookie contract for the quarterback. In this case, they have Sam Darnold, who's on that cheap deal, and that's going to be there for a while. They have the defensive coach. They lost Kubiak, but their identity is defense. Their identity is special teams. They have that lockdown. They're going to add more talent. So is Seattle sustainable? Are they the team to beat going forward? And are they a team that could be like, I want to say dynasty. I'm not going to throw right dynasties. Dynasties are hard to come around anymore. But like a team that could be year in, year out, the class of that division and possibly the NFC.
I definitely think they're gonna hang around. I'm not ready to label them a dynasty just yet. We see teams win the Super Bowl and make playoffs the following years, but we don't see that typical Kansas City, New England Patriots style where it's just like, they're one of the teams in the Super Bowl every other year ordeal. As far as Seattle being sustainable, I think they can. I know you mentioned their prowess and identity is mainly on defense. And, to note, they are losing a handful of, well, not losing, but I think 4 or 5 of their key defensive players are up for contracts. So impending free agents. I know a handful of that secondary is potentially looking to turn over. Kind of sounds like they've already parted ways enough with Rick Woolen, who obviously key contributor there. But I think the thing that makes them a sustainable team is the fact that they can do it on offense. Like they can do it. They can beat you whichever way they need to. And I mean, take the Rams playoff game, for example. That was a 38-35, I want to say. I mean, that was a firefight. You get into those games with, those other prolific offenses and solid defenses. It's like you need to be able to win a firefight. And Seattle has proven that, as well as that same style that you saw in the Super Bowl where they can just manhandle you on defense, pound the ball down your throat, and just control time of possession. So with that defense being as solid of a unit as it is, and Seattle having the offensive ability to beat you in a multitude of different ways, I think they're going to be a dangerous team for a little while.
Yeah, you didn't see that Seattle defense hold the Rams down. Stafford had some amazing numbers in both games against them. I don't know what they figured out or what McVay knows that Shanahan can't figure out. It's a little irritating, but Stafford played lights out against that defense, and his sustainability going forward is absolutely there because Mike McDonald is still the head coach, and he's still going to be putting that whole defense together. He's been pulling guys from out of nowhere that are contributing. They've been making moves. I'm scared of them. I mean, they're losing Shaheed potentially, and then one of the running backs. I'm having a brain fart. Which one? One of them's up for
Well,
Walker.
Kenneth Walker's a free agent, but they're probably going to keep him now that Charbonnet is not starting the year.
Right.
Oh,
It's going
yeah.
to cost a lot, though.
That's what I'm
Our
saying.
boy, we were pretty hard on him on the show all the time, but he just made himself a bag of.
Love it.
Didn't do a lot of tiny dancing in the playoffs.
you
That
know-
was break dancing. That was line dancing. That was amazing dancing. But he's earned
Your
himself about
brother-in-law
$16
had
million
him for
a year.
MVP too, man. Mark had him for MVP. He bet it.
What?
Mark
What was
bet
that
Kenneth
at?
Walker to win
50 to-
MVP.
40-1? It had to be huge.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't ask. All I know is when I was at it, when I was talking to him, he was like, "Yep, I got Walker for MVP," and I was like, "All right, good luck with that." Like, when's the last time a running back won it? TD?
28 years ago.
98?
It was 28 years ago, believe it or not. That's
Tom O'Brien
wild.
won it. How old were you 28 years ago, Tom?
2.
I remember that game. Very well. One last question for you guys, not to get too political, but did you watch the halftime show? Give me your did you guys like Bad Bunny before? Did you know about him? And what did you think about the show?
Go ahead, TD.
Didn't really per se tune in a whole lot. It was on in the background. I didn't care enough to turn it off and switch over to the alternate halftime show, but I knew who Bad Bunny was. Hadn't really listened to any of his music. Didn't really have a strong opinion one way or the other on the guy himself. Knew that obviously the NFL was catching a bit of backlash for it and so on and so forth, but just something that didn't really mean too much to me. It was just a halftime show that I wasn't going to sit on the couch and watch, and there have been a handful of those.
Yeah, it's not football, first off, so let's start with that. And second, I'm familiar with Bad Bunny. I got some guys at work that play his stuff out on the shop floor, so knew who he was. Obviously, he's in Happy Gilmore too. Got some exposure there, and he's a renowned artist, right? And there's a lot of parts of the world that are all about him, and the NFL latched on to those coattails to sell and to get people to tune in, and they're trying to go worldwide. You got the Australia game this year, you got a France game this year, you got 9 international games last year.
They love that shit, bro.
The NFL is doing everything they can to reach out to all these countries all over the place. They've got guys like us, man. You don't need to convince me with a halftime show to watch, right? So I didn't see it. I was driving home, and as soon as I got home, my daughter was like, "Hey, I want to watch a halftime show." So I turned it on right quick, and luckily the Android box is on delay, so she didn't miss much. But turned it on for her and was like, "Woo, this is a little extra, man. Like, they're really getting after it." But not, I don't think, completely age appropriate with some of the dance moves in there, given my younger girls. But either way is what it is. Didn't necessarily care. The Turning Point USA show looked a little rough around the edges. There's some accusations that Kid Rock was lip syncing, which he came out.
Accusations. That was it was
no,
crazy.
you gotta
Again,
watch Kid Rock's rebuttal, man. He came out and he talked about it, and he said, "Look, this was pre-recorded. I got the first draft. I told him, y'all, my timing is off on this song. This is wrong. This is wrong." And they're like, "We're gonna do the best we can. We don't have enough time to fix this." Because it was pre-recorded, and him and his DJ kind of go back and forth in that song, and they screwed it up. And he's like, "That's the last song I would ever lip sync. There's way too much energy. I've been singing it since the 90s. There's no reason for me to."
Right.
So He blames editing and whoever recorded it and not having time to produce it correctly. So there apparently was no lip syncing, according to Kid Rock. And I don't know if y'all caught it, but my boy CMC jumped on the piano with what was it, Luke Bryan? Or no, I'm having a brain fart. One of those
white country artists. Yeah.
The 49ers white guys getting real Republican out there.
Can I say something? Unfortunately, if a show is pre-recorded, that's the absolute definition of lip singing. It's pre-recorded.
Yeah.
The fucking vocals are coming through the fucking speakers.
No, he sang it when they recorded it. He was singing.
Oh, yeah. I understand that, but like he was actually not singing live. Anyways, here I don't have a long thing to go on to. I just have a video to play.
Your hands are what makes it possible. Your shoulder pads are hard and stiff. Your hands are tender and they can move and caress the ball. that's kind of gay, but hey.
For you guys, man, that's all I gotta say. It was fucking gay. So
they both
each tree was a person. That was cool. I would say that. I did notice that all the trees were actually people. That's something I want to see on like a Broadway show, though. You know what I'm saying? That's not quite.
Did you
to
see
me.
what those?
I care about the music.
Selling for?
No,
people are selling those things on eBay now for tall money, man. Like the people who were in the show, they're like, I got the whole outfit with the headset and the radio and all the whatever. And like, dude, people are going nuts trying to buy up these grass people outfits, dude, just because they're in the halftime show.
Walker was plus 850 from Bro Montana. Thank you, dude. Vegas must have known something because what we just said.
That's Holokowski, bro. That's Joe Holokowski.
Oh, what's going on?
No.
Think about it. We had 28 years of no running back winning, right? And then we get plus 850. You know, the quarterback's left something to be desired in this game, but like, that's wild. That should be like 20-1 if you think about it. Because it's been 28 years since a running back won the award. It's literally a wide receiver or a quarterback award 9 times out of 10, and then wide receiver or like a defensive player that gets 2 pick sixes. We saw Cooper Kupp win it. I think there was one other wide receiver, but generally it's always quarterback. So like Walker 850. I think they knew something that it was going to be a blowout. But Furious says, I think the Hawks should go get Pitts and Hendrickson if they have hella cap.
No way. Pitts is coming to the Niners, bro. Pitts is coming to the Niners. Kyle Shanahan.
No, you guys have Tungus, dude. Tungus is God.
Ah, man. He ain't Pitts. You can't
I would say there's a handful. I was going to say there's a handful of teams above Seattle in the free agency market for a tight end that will be willing to spend a lot more.
As long as Kittle's ready week 1, I don't care.
Kittle ready week 1? What are you fucking talking about? He's 32 years old.
Say that? You didn't hear him say that this week?
You remember when Aaron Rodgers kept on saying he was going to come back with the Jets?
We can say whatever we like.
Yeah, we actually I had Kittle on my players I'm giving up on segment on Wednesday for fantasy purposes, just mostly dynasty, but he's 32, going to be 33. Coming off an Achilles, already injury prone. That Kyle Shanahan has also showed no ability to keep his players healthy or care about the health of his players. So like they're just gonna run George Kittle right into the ground again. He's gonna get hurt again. I love George Kittle. I'm just saying like he's valued too high based on name.
All the more reason. Go get Pitts.
I'm glad I wasn't on that show.
Do you guys like Pitts?
The electrical substation.
Do you guys like Pitts like going forward? He had all of his production came when Drake London was out. And I've always loved Pitts, the talent, although he's never really wowed me. That one game, it was at 25% of his production came in one game. And he's fine. He is a freak. Kyle Pitts is a freak. He's still really, really young, 20-year-old rookie. Do you have hope for him becoming, the next thing? Or is this a one-year wonder? Tom, I'm going to start with you. Do you have hope for Kyle Pitts?
So it's hard not to have a little bit of hope because coming out of college, he was, to my knowledge, is the only player whose measurables, size, speed, athleticism, all the metrics, comped as comparably to Calvin Johnson. That was the thing. And we had not seen any player to that point have those type of metrics, those type of numbers, measurables. So I feel like in your back pocket, there's always got to be a little bit of hope. The production has left so much to be desired. And it was, as he went on throughout the years in the league, like the value just fell. So it's like, it was easy for some people like myself who typically punt on tight end to buy in this year. and get that exposure. So now you've got new bred fans like me that had Kyle Pitts win him a handful of championships. It's going to be so dependent on landing spot, and if a team's going to actually invest the time into using him, developing a package, emphasizing that tight end spot, I'm very much TBD, but I like the direction that he's going. So it's really just going to be landing spot for me at this point.
2 points on what you said real quick. You said that you bought it on Kyle Pitts. It usually punt the position. Buying it on Kyle Pitts this year was punting the position because he was drafted outside the top 12. So that still was punting the position. It just wasn't because the inherent upside we all knew Kyle Pitts had. And then you mentioned the Calvin Johnson thing, which is 100% accurate. The size, speed. Unfortunately, Nico, has Kyle Pitts ever showed you on film? Like, the combine was one thing, right? All the stats and facts were there of Calvin Johnson. I air quote Calvin Johnson. But on film, have you ever seen a moment, even the game he had this year, where you're like, damn, this guy's different? Where Calvin Johnson, the second we saw Calvin Johnson hit the NFL field, even at Georgia Tech, was like, this dude is a fucking freak. He has the name Megatron for a reason. Like, Kyle Pitts has never shown me that. He just is an oversized, good comment here from Furious, an oversized wide receiver. That's literally all he is. And unfortunately, his play speed is not what his 40 time speed is, because that dude does not play 4-4.
Yeah.
No, and he, I agree. The underwear Olympics are different, right, than out there playing football. The thing for me, though, is utilization. Sure, he's an oversized tight end. He's what have you. I look at him as he's Jawan Jennings plus. He is going to be a better receiver than what Jawan Jennings is, but it's going to come in at half the price. The tight end value in the NFL, tight ends are dirt cheap compared to receivers, and he's going to put up just as good, if not better, numbers for half the price. That's where the value's at for me. That's where I'm willing to take him. Not as a true tight end, not as a good blocking tight end by any means. He's okay, but it's the guy you can move around the field. You can line up multiple positions, and he's going to cost you a fraction. He's going to a wide receiver 2, a wide receiver 3 price for somebody who's going to give you the same production, for a discount. That's where it's at. And landing spot's a huge thing. If you ask him to just line up next to the tackle the entire game, you're never going to get your money's worth out of him. He's not going to blow anybody off the line. He's going to get chipped. He's going to get held up. He's going to get banged up and slowed down over the middle. So put him out wide, use him like a big possession receiver to move the chains.
I got
Why is Jawan Jennings such a cocksucker?
I don't know, man. I got no idea.
How about we do this with
asshole.
Kyle Pitts?
He's always just, let's hear it.
So while Nick was going on, great idea popped into my head. Take him, you pair him with McDaniels, former Dolphins coach, and you replicate that Gesicki year where he's split out wide 76% of the time. He's just a receiver for you. You get him out wide, you get him into the slot, and you play to his strengths. And we've seen somebody do that already to this point with a tight end. And like we said, he's a big receiver. Treat him like that. Don't put him in line. Don't ask him to block.
Do the old Gronk Gonzalez treatment, right? 2 wide receivers. It works.
Kyle Pitts is going to make so much money this year just because I was doing my tight end research for the upcoming draft, right? And there's a lot of tweeners. And in the past, tweeners just kind of flamed out of the league because if you're not a good blocker and you're not an elite receiver, like, they just don't work. But I think that Sean McVay kind of broke the mold. And Sean McVay historically was always an 11 personnel guy. Not only did Sean McVay go heavy at 12 personnel this year, he went exclusively 13 personnel.
Yep.
And I think we all know that Rams tight end room is not really good. It was Tyler Higbee. It was a rookie in Ferguson. It was, it wasn't great. Davis Allen, like Parkinson is a blocking tight end at 6'7". Like, those are just guys. Like, literally, it's not like they had Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, but like,
I wonder, is this not the next wrinkle in the NFL offenses that we're seeing? Is McVay not the leader of the pack with this? And you, again, bring Pitts into San Francisco with Tonjes, and then Kittle gets healthy. There's a world where Kittle and Pitts both contribute. And I don't know, man, the tight ends kind of fell away, and now you're seeing McVay rejuvenate that position with a bunch of no-names. It may be that next wrinkle you're looking for. We'll see. And even Seattle.
NFL's a copycat league, right? Like, it's totally a copycat league. And
Seattle had 2 or 3 tight ends contribute, including a rookie.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually had Elijah Arroyo somehow. I saw a couple snaps. He was split out wide. He was coming off injury. So, in terms of my research for the tight ends, I was like, these guys are going to go higher than we think, which is food for thought in terms of futures bets for the NFL draft, because I feel like teams are going to stockpile this position. Not to mention, you talked about Nico. It's an underpaid position, right, relative to wide receiver. And like, why not run these 12 personnels? You save money. And the crazy thing about Sean McVay doing this, he was pulling one of. It was Puka Nacua. Remember, in the middle of the year when Puka was coming back from the injury, they were pulling Puka off the field and running Devontae Adams on 13 personnel. And then in the playoffs, they were pulling Devontae Adams off because he was still a little labored with that hamstring. And like, those are all-time receivers. Devontae Adams, what, top 10 receiver of all time? Puka, probably the best receiver in the NFL right now. And they were choosing to not have both those guys in the field to play Davis Allen, like,
and to keep them
but
healthy.
it worked. It worked,
and to keep them healthy.
So I think that this tight end boom, that's the thing for Kyle Pitts. Like, he's going to get paid a boatload. The question is, do we want to pay him? Nick, do you want to pay, or even Tom, for the Cowboys, right? Ferguson's just a guy. I like Schoonmaker, but like, do you want to pay him on either of your teams top dollar to come in? And in your case, the Niners, like, he would be the starter, and then they'd have a pack. He just essentially turned into a wide receiver. In terms of the Cowboys, he would take over Ferguson's job, or they'd play both of them at the same time. So, Tom, do you want to pay him? Do you think it's fair to pay him top dollar money?
Now, I think that's kind of it's a luxury, don't get me wrong. And I would very much like to see those two operating together. I think that you have a lot of fun packages. You'd be able to exploit defenses over the middle in a multitude of ways. I think it's a luxury that the Cowboys can't expense currently at this point in time, just with the way that where they've got their money wrapped up, and again, how much you should be putting money towards the defensive side of the ball. But the overall thought process of it, I love. I would love to see it. I don't know if I'd want to pay top dollar for Pitts, but that's the problem with free agency, is we pay good players like they're great players.
Yeah,
Nico, you have the team. You have the coach, right? You have the coach, because Kyle Pitts is a chess piece. And unfortunately, most of these coaches don't know how to play chess. They're playing checkers. Kyle Shanahan's playing something beyond chess. So, like, you could utilize him.
I think so. I think Shanahan will get the most out of him. I also think the market value for Juwan is about double what Pitts is going to cost, man. It's the receiver versus the tight end money. Juwan Jennings is going to command more money than Pitts, and he is no better.
That's gross.
Dude,
that's gross,
it is
bro.
gross, but that's the world.
Juwan Jennings is not very good. He is slow. He is also a headache, dude.
But the tight end value just isn't there. Poor Pitts, man. He should have just put a WR on his name years ago and made a shit ton more money. But that's not the avenue that he went. And it would cost way less for a dude who's way more talented a receiver than Jennings. And then what happens when Kittle comes back at age 32, 33, partway through the season? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Use them both. I am all about that, dude. I would swap Jennings for Pitts and save money every day of the week.
Tom, would you rather sign Wan'Dale Robinson or Pitts? Furious is wondering if they're a similar price. They might be, because the point Nick just made about wide receivers. Didn't Darius Slayton get 4 years, $45 million or something, like Darius Slayton? So Wan'Dale is coming off 2 good years. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was around that. So what you're getting in those two players are a little different. I mean, the thing is, they operate typically in the same area of the field. Personally, I think I would, and now this is me being a Cowboys fan, I think I would rather have Wan'Dale. See, that's tough, though, because my mindset tells me we haven't had that true. Now, I'm a big Cole Beasley fan, and I liked having that shifty slot receiver that could just hit the sticks. And that's where I think Wan'Dale wins. He wins in that short area separation. He's quick. He's explosive. He's not a guy that you throw on the outside, have him, streak down the field. But at the same time, we have Lamb that we constantly operate in the slot, and he wins there. So my initial knee-jerk reaction was take Wan'Dale, because we haven't had that. But I think Pitts would allow us to attack the seam a little bit more, because that is one of Dak's favorite throws. We've seen Prescott use so many tight ends just streaking down the seam, option routes over the middle. Dak likes his tight ends. I mean, I'm sure you being a fellow fantasy football degenerate, maybe 6-7 years ago, was very high on Blake Jarwin, like I was. I was the biggest Blake Jarwin truther, and I thought he was going to have that breakout year before he got hurt.
Neck injury, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like,
man.
yeah, Dallas gets so much good production out of their tight end. The more that I'm thinking about this exercise, I think I would rather go with Pitts at that point.
Yeah, it would be a funny spot for Wan'Dale Robinson, just based on what we've seen, is the Bills. Like, let's bring in another slot receiver, Buffalo. That's exactly what you need. Here's the Bills wide receiver room, guys. Last year, all you Josh Allen haters that come at me, I'm on record the last couple of years saying Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the NFL. Here's the wide receiver room, folks. Khalil Shakir, Josh Palmer, Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman, Mecole Hardman, Brandon Cooks, Gabe Davis, and then a bunch of bums. So they love their slot receivers, even though that's not really Josh Allen's forte. He needs an X receiver that he can actually throw the ball up to. So this would just be a hilarious situation where there's like, let's bring in Wan'Dale Robinson and run him next to Khalil Shakir, and that's just so gross, dude. It's so gross.
What if he had like a Stephon Diggs type or something there? Do you think he could be successful with him?
That could be good. Yeah, that could be good.
Sense.
The guy played 3 more years after.
Pairing.
The guy made $1 million. Furious says Bill should try to do everything they can to get Pickens. That is the perfect landing spot, right? The tag and trade. That is a one. They are a one player away, and typically there's 4 or 5 teams that are one player away, and the Bills are the definition of one player away. And George Pickens is the definition of the player they fucking need. A guy that can move around the formation, but primarily play in the boundary. Awesome contested. Like, imagine that pairing, like just Josh Allen in trouble instead of having to throw the ball to Brandon Cooks or Josh Palmer. You have George Pickens down there winning 50-50 balls. That's what you do.
I don't
do it.
Obviously, don't love the idea of not having Pickens on my team this year, but from a Bills perspective, that's, like you said, that's their missing link in the chain. They need to get Allen a predominant X receiver, somebody to win outside. He's got too many small guys that just operate over the middle and fall down in first contact. And Keon Coleman is leaving a lot on the table to be desired. Yeah.
He can't go back. He can't go back there. It's like going to a club and getting in a fight and assaulting a woman. Like, you're not welcome back in that club. And when the owner and now head coach, they pawn off, like saying it wasn't our choice to draft you, essentially saying you're a bum, which is what they said. And he got suspended during the year. He can't go back there. But the problem is they're going to get about a 6th round pick for him at best, maybe 7. Like, that's awful. They drafted him in the 2nd round return 2 years ago. Bad pick. Yeah. Bad pick.
From what I've been seeing,
I can't believe they didn't take Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey was available. They love slot receivers. That's perfect. Yeah. Just keep on getting more short guys there for Josh Allen. They actually thought they were doing the right thing, right? They got their X receiver. Keon Coleman's a big X. Not a good player, and I'm going to take the L on that one because I was a pretty big Keon Coleman fan. I don't know what happened. It was bad. He had one good quarter this year, 4th quarter of that week 1 game against the Ravens. That was it. After that, he's done nothing.
If there's any Bill staff listening right now, I am 5'6", about $180. If you need another slot, I got you.
Oh, he's in. You're 32. You're 30, so you got the Brandon Cooks vibe, right? You're over the hill in terms of wide receivers age. So let's do it. Furious. We'll answer a couple more questions. Hit the intro, and then we'll get to our best draft picks and worst draft picks in each round. Do you think any team would take on Kyler's contract to get him for free?
Would you rather? Positively, or Kyler fits there. I don't buy that, dude. He's not the quarterback type that's going to utilize Justin Jefferson appropriately. You got Addison if he comes back. The money that's due. What's his money that's due this year? I don't know off the top of my head.
Lot of money. Of money. I would guess at least 40 million, bro. Probably more than that. 50 million.
Yeah, the Cards are going to have to pay some money to trade him, right?
Yeah.
He'll probably get cut. He's going to go to the Jets. We all know it. He's the future of the Jets, which is
that's
so typical.
He sucks dicks and balls.
They deserve each other, right? Like, the Jets deserve Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray deserves the Jets. Like, have fun. You get to be in New York, but have fun just sucking ass. Mm-hmm. Dakota says, you're Danny Woodhead size? Danny Woodhead. I think you are Danny Woodhead size because he was a big dude, super short, but big. 180 is big.
He was very compact. Yeah. Oh no,
How tall are you? You're 5'6"?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's about as wide as he is tall, brother.
Does penis length, does penis size have to do with your height, or are you going to debunk that?
So I will say it looks a lot bigger when it's got a lot shorter of a distance to go to the floor.
Yep. A lot closer to the floor when
Yeah.
you got shorter legs.
Little optical
And we
illusion,
all
but
know if you want to look bigger, you shave, and then you look bigger. If you have a bush down there, it makes it look smaller, right?
Mm-hmm.
correct.
Tom's got
You know,
kind of
the-
a little Sean McVay thing. I'll say that. As much as ripping on your height and your small penis, you have a little Sean McVay thing. If you had the hair, like the gelled hair, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm saying Sean McVay is a very, very, very attractive small man. I love Sean McVay. What a stud.
Oh, one of the hottest head coaches right
Did-
now, for sure. Hands
Yeah.
down.
And his wife.
I've gotten-
his wife. Is,
Yeah. Let me pull
You've
one of
gotten
those.
Sean
and I
McVay
will-
before?
I've gotten
gotten
Sean
that?
McVay before, and my barber, when he trims up my beard, he says I give Julian Edelman vibes.
So you're Sean McVay. If Sean McVay and Julian Edelman fucked and had a baby, that you're the baby.
Right. I'm that bastard child. That's me.
Like if they rub
Yeah.
their butts together.
Right. And then you poop out a baby. That's me.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I've gotten Ben Roethlisberger, which I don't like. And again, don't judge me right now. I look like a clown with my mustache. I've also gotten Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't understand that one at all. I'm just me though, guys. I'm just me. That's all I can be, right?
That's it.
Hey, my mom and my wife say I'm handsome, so that's all I give a fuck about.
I get nothing. I ran into a friend from high school the other day at a gas station. Hadn't seen him in, I don't know, dude, 10, 15 at least years. And I call his name out, right? Wave to him, hey. And he's like walking over, like, who is this? And I'm like, it's Osterweg, right? Like, he's like, oh man, you look old as shit. I was like,
You're
well,
43. I think you look pretty good for 43.
that dude's my same age and he don't got no gray beard, right? His beard's like way down to here, but it's all brown, but he's bald on top. And I was like, oh, how
How
old
are
do I
you?
look? Remind me again how old I look, like Mr. Bald Man.
Hey, for all you know, he's using the coloring right on his beard. You don't know if he's not.
Yeah, I got no idea. But it was
Yeah.
pretty
Anyways,
funny,
one more
though.
question before the intro. Do you guys think Tank Dell is done after the MCL and ACL tear? He's definitely done. He's gonna come back. So come back, but he's done in terms of fantasy dynasty. Like get rid of him. Not to mention he's tied with the Texans defensive team and CJ Stroud, who lost everything. I don't know where that guy's head's at, what's in his head. And I always say this: I love CJ Stroud. Actually, I hate CJ Stroud. What am I prefacing of that? He needs to spend less time in church and more time in the film room and the gym. The dude's a fucking Bible banger. He spends way too much time in church, and I'm nothing against that. You're an NFL
So-
quarterback. You have the rest of your life to fucking pray.
CJ Stroud's church is to Kyler Murray's video games. Is that what I'm hearing?
There you go. Exactly, bro. Like I'm just saying, like you can't. They're not allowing you to bring the playbook into church. And if you could, like you remember the Back to the Future 2 with the book, the Almanac, where he actually had it in a Playboy. Like if you could do that, then go to church. You can be reading plays
Right.
in church. And as long as God isn't watching, you're fine. But CJ Stroud, is he done? Are we done with him? Is there hope? Is there hope? I will say this. Is there hope?
I think
I don't
there's
have any
hope. I think there's hope because of Trevor Lawrence. I had so many hopes for Trevor Lawrence so many years, and then I want to be done with him. And then Liam Cohen shows up and is like, "You're not done with him," and he reignites my hopes again. And I don't like it, dude. I wanted to just move on with my life, and I can't. Dude, he's like that clingy, dirty ex that you don't want to have anything to do with. That's what T-Law is now. And I think CJ Stroud's the same thing. He had a great rookie year. He fell injury, he fell off a little. He's got defensive head coach, whatever. But all of a sudden, the right OC or the right position, like he's gonna be hot again, man. And I don't know, like it's like, oh, you're with someone new, now you're hot. Like you weren't hot when I was with you. That's how I see him. That's the
You have
best
hope,
Rob
Tom, for
analogy
CJ
I got.
Stroud?
I tried to rob that.
That's a good one.
I mean, I think there's still a little bit of it. I'm surprised Nick didn't take the low-hanging fruit of the Sam Darnold overhaul that we just saw, but instead he went with T-Law. So, but I mean, Darnold's a even more extreme of, the seeing ghosts in New York to what he's done the last 2 years. I think we've seen enough of the arm talent from Stroud in flashes that you can see why he's an NFL quarterback, obviously. I think the team is going in the right direction. If you can if you can focus on his accuracy and efficiency, be a run first team, and just ask him to be Alex Smith, I think he can do that. So I think he can still be a competent NFL quarterback. And with Nico Collins and some other the options that they have there, like he can be fantasy relevant. I don't think he's, I don't think we're ever talking about CJ Stroud as a quarterback one, but 2 quarterback leagues, things like that. Like he'll be semi-relevant.
Yeah, he doesn't have, the problem is he doesn't have the fantasy skill set, right? He doesn't run enough. He's not aggressive enough. He takes care of the ball. And now apparently he's just Mr. Turnover. Dakota's making a Ben Roethlisberger joke here. He says, Rob, you ever pay state troopers to guard the bathroom for you at the club? Because we all know Ben Roethlisberger did something very illegal in that bathroom stall to an underage girl. That's allegedly. But I think it's actually maybe, is it allegedly?
I don't know. I allegedly it because he continued to play in the NFL.
Yeah, so did Peyton Manning. Jeffrey says, I think CJ Stroud would do better at a different location. The Texans is not a good place for developing a quarterback. That's true, but I don't know where he's going to go.
They got weapons, though, man. They got weapons there. They got good receivers. I love Nico Collins. They've got a dependable tight end. Their offensive line leaves a little to be desired, and I think that's more of CJ's problem is he needs a better O-line. He needs time. You put pressure on that guy, and he's not great. So get a better O-line there, and he can develop more. I don't blame the Texans, and I don't blame him necessarily. But like Tom said, I don't see him being a top 10 or 12 quarterback in fantasy anymore going forward.
Tom, why is Burden being ranked over DJ Moore?
Because he's BA.
Because the guy doesn't drop a pass. I mean, he's got crisp routes. DJ Moore is – I don't think Ben Johnson utilized DJ Moore to the fullest extent of his ability. And obviously coming from the Lions, everyone was sitting there going, who's going to be the next St. Brown? Who's going to be utilized in that role? And a lot of people wanted it to be DJ Moore because he's very much that run after the catch, ball across the middle, get the ball in his hands early, let him make plays. And I mean, watching the tape on Burden coming out of college, it's like you see the guy's just he's got a lot of wiggle. He's explosive with the ball in his hands, makes plays in the open field. I thought it was a pretty clear cut and dry, like this is going to be the Bears possession style receiver. Rome's going to be on the outside. And that kind of left DJ Moore hanging out to dry. So
it did a little bit, but if you look at the numbers, I looked at them yesterday, I forget exactly when, reading about it. The Odunze numbers are gross, man. The
efficiency numbers,
the catchable balls and the completion percentage to Odunze versus Burden, like as a not Bears fan, I'm like, man, move on from Odunze, not DJ is where I'm at. And like people are telling me I'm nuts because DJ's old and he's washed and he's whatever. But all 3 of us, TD, welcome to the DJ Moore extravaganza, man. Rob and I have been so high on him. And Rob, you have no idea how much TD and I have talked to about DJ Moore. Like all 3 of us are DJ Moore truthers, dude. And I'm telling you, like he is still a more complete receiver, a more reliable guy. And I trust him next year on the Bears more than I do Odunze. It's Burden.
DJ Moore's he's gone. DJ Moore's gone, just so you know. I can't wait to draft DJ Moore next. No. He's gone. He wants to go somewhere else. You heard it here first, folks. He's gone. He's going to go to the Titans or some shit, and I'm going to love drafting him. One more comment before we get to the intro. Did you guys? Someone's got to help me with this one. How do we feel about what Joey Porter Sr. said about Big Ben during Super Bowl week? I was watching PTI and it was next on the ticker. I had to take a shit and I missed it. So I know he said something that he's a bad person, right?
Yeah, I caught a blurb of it. It was more just like. He was saying that Roethlisberger kind of fucked up that locker room. And again, I'm not regurgitating this word for word, but it was something along the lines of like, he pretty much did whatever he wanted. He wasn't a team player. He kind of just did his own thing and the coaching staff let him. So.
Yeah,
Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson. That's a Russell Wilson thing.
I didn't hit it verbatim either, but it boiled down to that's not our guy. He eats dicks and balls and we don't.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, I'm hitting you guys with the intro. 50 minutes. That's what we do around here. Get an intro 50 minutes into the show.
Crazy.
Because why the fuck not?
bro. You hit
guys
the
know
mark.
when I have it after your
You-
name, the Brandon Ayuk
You
thing.
hit the mark.
Yeah.
Did you see that? As a couple of
speed.
fags, man. Those are two of my least favorite people in the world, dude.
Oh yeah, don't
Stephen
take
A. and
offense. I
Ryan
don't mean you
Clark.
guys are a couple fags. Stephen A. and Ryan Clark are definitely fags.
I know.
They're very, very gay.
Bullseye, brother. Bullseye.
I want to fight them.
You stupid
You just won't.
Go buy some sandals. Hey, go buy some sandals. You want to fight? I'll fucking fight. I haven't fought in 10 years. I'm fighting you guys. What you got? What you got? Let's see. Throw down, bitch. Throw down, bitch.
So bad.
So
I
bad.
think I could. I probably couldn't take Ryan Clark. I know I could take fucking Stephen A. Smith. He would just yell at me. That's all he would do.
I think I could take Ryan Clark, man. We'll tag team him. Me and you, Stephen A.
There we
Ryan
go.
Clark.
There we go. And then Tom, you referee it. That's how we do it. All right, real quick. Shout out to the Patreon bros. Appreciate everybody for supporting the channel. You guys make my job fun, and also you can contribute and help me out. So beyond just contributing and supporting your boys here, you get a lot more perks than just that. Access to the Discord community. Tom, you got to join that. It's amazing. Community fantasy leagues. We have 2 spots left for the Dynasty League, drafting in May, getting that shit organized by March. So get in now. Guest appearances on the pod. You want to be sitting in Tom's spot, Nick's spot, maybe even my spot. You want to host the fucking show? Give me a night off. I'd fucking love it. If not, just, comment section. And then free merchandise. These hats we're wearing, getting shirts in the next month. That's what's up. I send out a free hat and a shirt every single month for you guys, free of charge to you. And the biggest perk of all, you get early access to my betting plays, gentlemen. You can get these on Saturday, but I place these on Wednesday. So if you want to get the actual odds, get the record I have, make the fucking money that we do on this channel, 96 and 58 on player props. That a rough
Never
Super Bowl, but I
lost
don't give
money.
a fuck.
You will not lose money if you jump in on the early side with Rob, dude. Did you not like free money? Come on.
Free money. So essentially, whatever you give, which is at this point, it's going to go up, but it's $5 a month to get access to the early plays. You're going to pay for your year in like 2 weeks. If you bet enough. If you bet $5 a bet, then maybe not. But who bets $5 a bet? Those are pussy shit. Anyways, appreciate that. And the Discord community is probably the best part, because the community is awesome, man. Everyone in there. It's a lot. It's a lot of football talk. It's a lot of positivity, but there's more than just football talk. We like to just keep it pretty respectful, and we talk shit about the Cowboys, the Niners, like definitely a lot about the Cowboys. What do we call Nico? What do we call it? What do we call the Discord? It's the
Place to be.
It's the place to be.
What do you call it, Kramer? It was. Come on, Rudy. Come on. We call it the place. The place to be. Yes.
The place to
right. Let's see. Also, we're gonna get to our actual segment we want to do here. It's best and worst picks of each round. One last thing, we are, as always, doing the Pro Fan Super Chat fundraiser. Every 5 Super Chats is a beer chug. I actually have just on here for 1 because I want to chug a fucking beer. Every $20 Super Chat beer chug. Everyone that signs up for the Patreon during the live stream gets a beer chug, maybe even a shot. I'm feeling a little frisky tonight. Here's Helen Hunt. Say hello to Helen, everybody. Hi, Helen. You're looking great tonight. You're looking great. She looks worse in this one. This is gross. Oh, God.
Yeah, not a fan.
Disgusting.
Not a fan.
All right. Keep on pounding the questions, and we'll get to them later. We're going to get to best and worst picks of each round. We're going to start with best pick in each round. Here we go. Christian McCaffrey, round 1. We all agree that was probably the best pick because he was 7th or 8th overall. It's either him or Puka Nacua. You couldn't go wrong with either of those guys, but they were a tier above everyone else. Would you guys agree?
I do. Puka fell out of the first in a lot of leagues, and McCaffrey was the injury concern. And I'm super curious to see where CMC goes next year, right? After he got a million touches this last year. And the recipe for that typically means that they don't show out the next year, or that they suffer an injury or a setback. So I'm a little nervous as a Niner fan next year, but absolutely, man, the killer pick of the first round, the numbers that he put up and the volume and the touches, it was unbelievable for middle to late first round.
And that's even with his efficiency being a little bit down this year.
Yeah, it was the touches are insane. I don't know if he can't. I mean, the thing is, Kyle Shanahan will fucking do it again to him. He doesn't give a shit. He will just say, hey, guess what? CMC, here's 25 touches every game. Here's a game against the Titans week 6. We're going to win the game. Here's 25 touches. Let's move on to the second round because we all know the first round is pretty easy. We have Jonathan Taylor. JT, guys, sucked in the play. Not sucked, but was not great past week 14, week 13, once we had the injury to Danny Dimes. But he was the number one player in fantasy the first 10 weeks of this season. And he was going 15, 16, 17, 18 ADP. Tom, this was an easy smash, right? Like, I liked him. I play a lot of PPR, and I didn't have a lot of draft slots there. I took him everywhere. In every league it wasn't full PPR, I had Jonathan Taylor in.
Yeah, no, I mean, you saw the recipe, and the Colts offense was all Taylor. I mean, don't get me wrong, Daniel Jones did very admirably. Even stole 5, 6, 7, quarterback sneaks right there on the goal line. Like, thought we were done with the Anthony Richardson stuff, and it was just going to be all Taylor. And apparently, no, Daniel Jones wants to do a fucking quarterback sneak every chance he gets. But the something that you mentioned earlier in the show was one of your last shows was like players that like you're kind of done with or something like that, or don't have trust in. I need Indy to get a quarterback in there soon because I'm getting a little nervous about JT. I mean, 27, going to be 28 soon. Daniel Jones isn't going to be back soon. And with an Achilles injury, like, once he's back, he's going to need another year to get back to what we just saw last year, prime Daniel Jones. So now you're looking at JT being 29 if they invest in Daniel Jones. I'm getting a little nervous. I mean, we've seen it with Henry. Some guys will prolong father time a little bit longer, but that running back fall off is coming quick for JT. I think he's still got another good year or two in him of high productivity, but like, I don't know. I'm skeptically optimistic.
But you mentioned Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry's an alien. Derrick Henry's not of this planet. And like the better comp is Saquon Barkley, who is also an alien, but not quite the same species as Derrick Henry. And we just saw Saquon Barkley fall off this year, and it wasn't because the offense was fine. Now, I know the scheme wasn't great. Offensive line took a step back. It was still a plus situation for Saquon. Like, go play on the Titans and see how it goes. Like, and we saw this with the workload right of Saquon Barkley, similar age, similar play styles. And there's a point where every player has a breaking point where it's just past the point of no return, you're not the same player anymore. And JT has had, everyone rips on CMC for not being available and getting hurt. JT has missed a lot of time due to a lot of ankle injuries, and those ankle injuries tend to be cumulative. And like that's the worry. He is one more ankle injury away, missing 4 or 5 weeks, just not being the same player. And this year he did surprise us. I know a lot of people had that worry, but he was great this year. He was elite this year.
A lot of CMC's injuries have been, I don't want to call them fluke, but they've been different, right? They haven't been the same soft tissue or the same areas. And
JT's have been.
It's exactly. And it's a little bit different of a thing. And I'm a homer, man. I'm a Wisconsin Badger fan. I'm a JT truther. And what's really fun now that the three of us are together, like I got my TD conversations and I got my Rob conversations. And I can say all three of us are JT truthers. Dude, we all like Jonathan Taylor a shit ton. And it's going to be so hard to trust going forward, depending on what they do at quarterback there. There's the Mac 10, the Mac Jones rumor, so him getting traded there. He, I think, can do the exact same, if not better, than what Daniel Jones did without the rushing. So I'm all about JT with that type of quarterback. But if they get someone in there that's going to be able to run the ball, or they get an incompetent quarterback or somebody I don't trust, I'm going to have a hard time getting behind JT. So man, he's touch and go this next year.
All right, third round, JSN. This one is probably the best pick of any round, just because JSN was, he was almost as valuable as Puka, but you had, 18 picks of buffer, and, it faded off a little. When I say faded off a little bit, it was 17, 18, 21 points instead of 23 points every week when you need the most in the fantasy playoffs. But JSN, I don't know how he missed this one. There was no competition there. I think there wasn't a lot of faith in Clint Kubiak in this offense, but like, wow, were we proven wrong, Tom?
I think it was the perfect storm for JSN. I mean, the college productivity was there. We knew that this guy had a profile to be a top-tier NFL receiver. buried on the depth chart a little bit, getting started. The uncertainty with the new coach, but we just saw, and for all intents and purposes, I don't know how many people were sold on Darnold being the quarterback. That
And
one
you saw one good year out of him, dude. How could
Right.
you be like, ooh, I saw one, now I know for sure?
Well,
And it was with Kevin O'Connell, which everyone just said it was Kevin O'Connell, not Sam Darnold. And that was a very justified opinion.
But that's the thing is, and I'm surprised you didn't hit on this already, Nick, in the 12 seconds that this has been brought up. Darnold attributes his success to being in the Shanahan system.
Yep.
And that's the thing, is like, that's what put it together for him, made it click. And then we saw that on display in Minnesota. Fast forward to Seattle. All Darnold did in his time in Minnesota was be like, hey, I've got a number one receiver out there, a playmaking badass. I'm just going to dial in. I'm just going to lock in. I'm going to throw this guy the ball 12, 15, 18 times a game and let him do his thing. And you look at the rest of that roster, it's like, yeah, there's a good run game, good defense, but that target volume was so consolidated to JSN and nobody else.
Yeah,
and the usage, like the routes out of the backfield, like that's how you could easily scheme up targets. Like where this is the opposite of what KOC is. As much as we love Kevin O'Connell, he did none of this for Justin Jefferson this year. He's like, hey JJ, you have a bad quarterback. We have a suspect offensive line. Go line up at X and beat this guy, even though he knows the quarterback couldn't make those throws. He couldn't make big boy throws. And what did Kubiak and the Seahawks do with JSN? They didn't need to do it with JSN because he's going to get open in the slot in the move position. They're like, hey, here's 8 snaps a game at the running back position where you have a linebacker on you. Good luck guarding that guy if you're a linebacker. Good luck guarding him if you're a fucking lockdown corner. I gotta say this real quick, Tom. You're elite. This is your tryout session. You already passed, so you can just kind of take the rest of the show off. Very, very, very nice performance.
Very nice performance. Very nice and clean performance. Very, very, very nice. Which one of these talented entertainers, who I am not attracted to at all, will be the winner?
Give Tom a round of applause because, first time on the show is never easy, man. I know there's a lot of pressure. Right now we have 9 people watching, so it's like, it's a lot. It's the whole world. You have the whole world watching you. So, I mean, holy shit, I'd be shaking in my fucking
very late NFL season. So,
yeah,
still putting it on, getting after it. And that's what a professional fanatic does. Who's even paying attention? Nobody gives a shit until we get 3-4 months from now before your average fantasy football fan cares. So
you start seeing those OTA headlines roll, and that's when people start dialing in.
Appreciate you, fanatics.
This is why we're the best, because we do this shit all year round. We're doing the work, so you don't have to. 4th round, James Cook. Now, I do believe a lot of this was attributed to the holdout, the perceived holdout, and especially for running back. You saw this with Terry McLaurin this year, right? You get nicked up. He should have never gone that late, regardless, just based on tied to Josh Allen. Last year led the lead in touchdowns. Go down the list. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of James Cook as a player. I think he's good. I don't think James Cook's great. Nick, do you think James Cook's a great player?
I don't think he's a great player, but I think he's in a great position. And the offense is set up to succeed. He's the only guy running the rock there. I know you got Allen stealing touchdowns, but it was one of those to where, like, Cook may not show up. Cook may not do anything. So he continued to fall, where I think if it was Cook's for sure going to be there and he's signed up and he's ready to roll, everybody would have overdrafted him based on what he did the year before, and he'd have been on the bus list.
Yeah. Tom, going forward for James Cook, like, I'm a big Ray Davis fan personally, and every time we've seen Ray Davis get more than 5 touches in a game, anytime we've seen him get the lion's shares of the work when James Cook's been hurt, Ray Davis has 120 yards and a touchdown. And is this a product of that being a great spot to be in, or is it a product of James Cook being a truly elite running back?
Now, I'm not ready to call James Cook elite, but I do think that scheme itself is very productive. I mean, we've seen Ty Johnson be an effective runner behind that Bills line, catching the ball out of the backfield, so on and so forth. I think we're going to get hit with a little bit of whiplash as far as, to this point, Cook has been almost criminally undervalued to this point. And obviously, the big touchdown year was one thing. You've got, regression back to the mean. Those numbers are probably going to come down. Well, they did a little bit, but
efficient.
right. But at the same time, that I think we've seen it enough to this point where now we're going to overreact the opposite direction. And instead of, him being a mid to late third, it's like people are going to be jumping on this guy end of the first. And,
guaranteed first round pick, guaranteed.
Right. Taking guys attached to good offense is never a bad move. But again, I don't think, and I like Cook the player. I don't love Cook the player. I don't know if he's going to, you're drafting him in the ceiling, and we don't do that.
Nope.
Real quick. James Cook or Ashton Genty next year?
Where?
Cook.
In the first round, end of the first round.
Ooh, I'm not touching Genty. Oh, I'd take Cook over Genty, but I don't want either one in the first.
Full PPR. I'm taking Ashton Genty, bro. I'm guaranteeing the touches and the pass game usage. Taking Genty. Give me the volume. I think I know Ashton Genty is a better player than James Cook. James Cook can never break a tackle ever. He eludes a lot of players. He's very fast. And also the dude somehow has stayed healthy. Crazy. He's stayed healthy. It's at a crazy level. And he does not comp as a guy that's going to be a health, with all the touches. How does he stay healthy so much? It's because he doesn't look for contact. He doesn't run through contact. He doesn't really get hit behind the line. But James Cook is not going to stay healthy. He's not going to perform. I don't like him at all in the first 15 picks. No way.
So you think Mendoza is a dump off king? You think they're going to throw a bunch of screens there with the rookie quarterback?
I think Kubiak is pretty innovative as an offensive coordinator, and I know the recipe for a top 5 running back is always it's not like you have to be an elite offense. You can't be a bottom 5 offense, and I think that the Raiders could be a bottom 5 offense, but volume is king, and there's volume and pass catching. That's all I care about. If you can give 65 receptions on Ashton Genty, he's still going to score 10 touchdowns. I want that over James Cook, who's not going to stay healthy.
65 is a lot, but that Kubiak offense is a branch from the Shanahan, right? You still got his brother Clay with Kyle. You've seen Clint go up to Seattle and win with a Sam Darnold, right? Go into a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold and got after it. So hopefully he brings some of that to the Raiders, and they can put an offensive line in place, and Genty will do his thing. But they got some spots to fill, man. They got some missing puzzle pieces that until those are put in place, I'm a little nervous about Genty.
I'll throw a little devil's advocate question out there. Oh, I was just going to throw a little devil's advocate question out there on Genty. Are we sure he's not just a volume-based plotter? Are we sure he's not Najee Harris, Trent Richardson?
I'm sure. Come. Those are some rough names, bro. Those are some rough names.
Go back to Trent Richardson's rookie year.
Holy fuck.
He was the hottest thing since sliced bread coming out of Alabama, and he had that one good year. And again, we saw the volume there with Genty, and it was just the efficiency. And granted, a lot of this is on that line that's in shambles, but it was oddly similar when I was looking at those numbers. And one of my buddies was like, he threw it to me. He's just like, are we sure Genty's not Richardson in disguise? And I'm just like, I don't like that, because I feel like there's some sense to that. There's some alignment there. I also agree that I think Genty's a better player. Watching him at Boise, the dude's got insane contact balance. He's special. But it was just something I was looking at, and I'm like, you know what? We're on the topic. I'll throw devil's advocate question out there.
It's a valid question. I'll say this. There was a stat. I don't have the stat off the top of my head, but I can spitball it. It was he had 1,300 total yards this year, and 1,000 of them came after contact. When I hear stats, when those stats get thrown out there, it's like, dude, this guy, he had to earn every inch, and there's something admirable about that. And you know how you always like your quarterbacks coming out of college to be in bad programs because they learn the position, right? They have to learn getting beat up. Ashton Genty got a crash course in NFL running back, where I'm telling you, James Cook has never had that, right? That they're literally polar opposite players. And
he's been spoiled.
There's something to be said about just getting your brains beaten. He showed up every game. It wasn't always pretty. And again, I know it's weird to say his college production, because Boise State is not Alabama, where you mentioned Trent Richardson and Najee Harris played, right? Those guys, I can't even judge their college film, though, because they were men amongst boys in general, their size, and the fact they played them among, they had NFL linemen in front of them, they had NFL everywhere around them except for quarterback, And like, I can't judge that film. I can judge his film because yes, he's playing against less people. He also has no one blocking for him. Right? Like, did Boise State have an elite offensive line? I don't think so. So I don't know. I'm not even an Ashton Jetsy guy. It's just like when I talk about those two guys in particular, like give me the talent and the volume. And we're always wrong about these situations every year. Like I'm pretty certain the Raiders aren't going to be great, but they're going to be better than what they were last year. There's no way they'll be worse. Pete Carroll had his fucking any success, son. His son was the offensive line coach.
Yep.
Dude, who is Pete Carroll's son? Who is his son? Like, I don't know who that guy is. I'd never heard his name. I didn't even know he was like the offensive line coach until the season started. I would have like drafted 0 shares of Jetsy. I only had like two of 36, which is pretty low share. But I would have had 0 if I knew that. Like, why is your son coaching at all? Like, have him like be the towel boy or the water boy, right? Like, he's spitting the cooler. All right, George Pickens, 5th round, guys. The next couple picks are possibly the two best in the JSN and these two guys. George Pickens, round 5, and let's be honest. Before like the end of draft season, he was a 6th round pick. He slowly got moved up, but towards the end of draft season, he settled at round 5. Tom, you're the Cowboys guy. How elite of a pick was this? Because 9 touchdowns, 90 plus catches, 1,300 yards, and again, you got to factor in he set out 2 games. He played the games, but essentially set out those games.
Yeah, and when Nick gets back, I'm gonna have him jump on a conversation that we had a little while back. Preseason going into the draft, but again, kind of like JSN, like it was just that perfect storm. It was that setup that Pickens needed. He didn't need to be forced into an alpha role. Him and CeeDee Lamb are perfect complements. Pickens is a downfield threat. A-Dot is much deeper than Lamb's. Like they operate in 2 different areas of the field, so it wasn't like they were going to be competing in a big way. And like that honestly made me like Ferguson a little bit less because now you don't have that option to send Lamb on these deeper, well, you do, but like you weren't going to send Lamb as consistently on these deeper routes and let Ferguson operate under the middle. And the overall team structure, Dallas has predominantly had a very effective, very elite offense for fantasy purposes. And just the fact that they were going to be in shootouts, they were going to be trying to drop 40 on every team that they played because their defense was going to let up 38 a game. Like it was just kind of that perfect storm in volume. And I've tried to filibuster long enough, but Nick and
ability. Let's not forget about the fact that he proved he could play by himself without CeeDee Lamb. He proved he can move around the formation, not just be that boundary receiver. Like the domination of that little slant, the Devontae Adams, like that was not in his game. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't his game. That was really, really underutilized or not used at all in Pittsburgh. And they threw that into his game. That changed everything because now he's setting up defenders to go on the go route. And he proved he was an all-around receiver. But 5th round, Nick, go for George Pickens. I guess he's a second receiver, and that doesn't always work out. But unfortunately, when you're talking about the Cowboys with no defense and with CeeDee Lamb taking all the double coverage and all the number 1 coverage, it was a match made in heaven.
Yeah, you got a top 3 wide receiver in fantasy and CeeDee. So what do you expect the second guy to do? I mean, we've seen Hill and Waddle. You've seen some of these teams run with 2 wideouts that both produce at a high level. But the question was Pickens' consistency. Is he going to stay on the field? Is he going to get after it? You've got CeeDee, who, if he's healthy, should command a lot of that. I was a big Fergie truther last year, so I thought he was going to take a lot of work at the tight end position. And I expected a lot out of that Dallas offense. And same as this next year. I expect a ton out of this Dallas offense next year. And if Pickens comes back, I'd be more than happy to take him there again, right?
Well, like I was
Tom,
mentioning,
if we had news of Micah Parsons, sorry, if we had news of Micah Parsons was traded, that happened right after draft season, essentially, right? So, like for me, like that would be a 1-round difference because that defense was clearly going to be way worse, which I know isn't always a 1-to-1 correlation, but it generally is for this team.
Yeah.
And if you knew they were to be in these shootouts, like ultra shootouts, he's a 4th-round pick, right?
I think the logical fantasy player makes that move, yes. And like after that, going into the heavy part of draft season, Nick and I do a lot of phone calls on our way home from work, and one of my buddies prefaced me a question, and I hit Nick with it the one day, and I'm like, I can't get this out of my head. I'm like, why is Pickens not T. Higgins, who were drafting, 2, 3, 4 rounds ahead of Pickens in some scenarios. And like just apples to oranges comparison, different teams, so on and so forth. But like you've got the bad
Devonta Smith too. Devonta Smith, same example.
But
Yeah.
we both were like, OMG, you're totally right. I had the same thought / conversation, and then we both moved them up a round or two.
Yep.
in all of our fantasy drafts, dude.
And that's why I had Pickens in, 6 of my 9 leagues.
And that wasn't even just a homer pick because you used your head and your homerism, right?
Correct.
All right, 6th round, Chris Olave. This is my guy. Pickens and Olave are both my guys. 6th round. I feel like this is actually low. I feel like he's more. This is underdog. In redraft, he was more of a 7th round pick, guys.
Oh, he's
and
definitely
I know.
Yeah.
The reason why was the offense was trash, right? On questionable quarterback situation and the concussions, which I didn't value as much because I don't care. Not saying I don't care about concussions, guys. I saw the movie Concussion with Will Smith. Tell us the truth. I saw that shit. But concussions don't limit, coming off a concussion, those things don't limit like a knee injury would, where it takes a year to come back. Like, you're either healthy or not with a concussion. You either can play or you can't.
I thought
and
that
he could
dude
play.
was a stiff breeze away from another concussion, and that's what concerned me. I was so afraid of injury with him. And then who was playing quarterback? I loved Olave in college. I love his talent coming out. I know the dude can ball, but the fact, again, you're so close to a repeat injury. You have who knows what at quarterback. I wanted nothing to do with him, man. The one league I drafted him, I traded him before this season even started.
What'd you trade him for?
Oh, I don't even remember. It was hot garbage. It didn't make
Bag
sense.
of potato chips.
Yeah, something like that. Half a
Gross.
ham sandwich.
Tom, were you about Olave this year, or were you scared off by the concussions?
I do my best to not draft scared. The reoccurrence of a concussion made me a little hesitant, but as far as kind of like what you were alluding to earlier, it wasn't something that was going to hamper his physical explosiveness. And I've seen Olave be a great player. And going back to Nick's running back CMC, it's like when you put it all together and he's on the field for 16 games, you get elite production. That paired with my former Pizza Boy offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, being there as their head coach, it gave me a lot of hope. And I found myself getting a little bit more exposure to Olave looking back once all my drafts were done. And then like, it made me a little nervous, but I'm like, this is a solid dart throw that will, where we were getting him, like he wasn't going to tank your teams, but
Right.
if it hit.
Well, here's the crazy thing for me. So I was the biggest Olave fan. He was one of my PPs. And I just saw him as an extreme floor play, right? I did not see I saw maybe 100 catches. He ended up catching a lot of touchdowns towards the end of the year. Right. I didn't see that upside, and that only came with Tyler Shuck. But with Rattler, it was more just a lot of 6 for 75s, which is fine in PPR. It's 13 points.
We love volume.
Wide receiver 3. But it was a surprise even to me as a guy that was touting Chris Olave. And again, coming out of the draft, first 2 years, I was not an Olave guy because remember the year he was a first-round pick? Like, that's just crazy to me. And that's the idea that we need to give to all you guys, right? It's fantasy theory. It's like, you can be about a guy or not be about a guy more based on where they're going in fantasy. It's nothing against Chris Olave. He's a fine player. He's not elite. He's not Justin Jefferson. He's not even a second-tier receiver. He's that third tier, that top 15, top 20, which is still a good receiver. But we're talking about that talent as the pure number one in an offense that's always going to be playing from behind. It's a recipe for, 150-plus targets, which how many guys, especially in today's NFL, the ball spread around so much. Tight ends are getting involved. Running backs are catching the ball. Yeah. There's more running backs getting carries now that it was money. We got to move on to Mecca Ibuka. It's a rough one here because the 7th round was not great. But his September, right, his first 6 weeks were that great, but it was such a bad finish.
That was
such
unreal.
a bad finish.
But if he'd have maintained half of what he did in those first 6 weeks, he exploded way past that round. That looked like the Baker connection. It was solid, man. And I don't know. I don't say it was Godwin or Evans coming back. I don't know if it's injury. I don't know what it was, but he just off a cliff, man. It was rough.
What do you think it was, Tom?
Ibuka's a weird one to me because I liked the situation. for whatever reason, and I don't have a good reason behind this, he's just one of those guys that I'm not super sold on. And I felt like I was kind of eating my words watching him explode those first, 6 games of the season. And I kept telling myself, like, maybe this guy's just going to be Jordan Addison. He's going to be the number 2 on a team. They're going to put him in good situations. He's going to, do a lot with, a little. And that's not to say that he wasn't getting a good share of volume and, throws in that offense, but there was just something about him that, like, I couldn't quite place. And then once he had that fall off, like, I felt kind of justified, but also I felt bad because at the same time, like, he's better than that. So he's a weird one to me, and I don't exactly know what to make of him. At this point right now, sitting here, I feel like he's going to be a player that I just don't have a lot of exposure to next year.
Nico, was it the injury? Because it was about week 5. I think it was week 5. He had that groin injury, and then you saw him leave the game for a little bit. He came back with a wrap on, and then finished the game. Never missed a game in the regular season, but like from that point on, the explosiveness. And I was very adamant about this. His vertical jump is worse than my grandmother's, and it was literally 12 inches. And somehow in the pro day, which I don't always take stock in, 42 inches, dude. Watch the film. This dude can't jump at all. So I don't know if it was the injury or if it was a combination of him not being that talented to begin with, or a combination of both. But he is just, dude, dropping passes, the awareness not being great. He just looked like a dude out there. And the first 4 weeks, it was awesome. But the numbers were awesome. I don't think he was necessarily awesome. He had a nice one-handed catch, but those were mostly Baker throws, right? The touchdowns, the game winners. So what do you think? Was the injury the thing?
It's hard to say what was the thing, whether it was the injury, whether it was Baker, whether it was the other guys coming back. But going into next year, I'm still not drafting him that high, if I'm being honest, with Godwin and Evans there, and the
McMillan makes plays too
that are going to take some work too. So he looked like he could have been a steal at that spot this year, but there's a lot of hype around him from his college production, and I get that. And Baker's a baller at times, and then not at times. So the inconsistency there makes you question a little bit. But I'm not taking Egbuka that high next year personally.
This is one of the problems, though, is that obviously coaches aren't going to tell us everything. We all saw the injury. But we don't know exactly how much it hampered him. And, like, it probably would have been best if they sat him down, right? Gave him a couple weeks off. But unfortunately, with Mike Evans' injury, with Godwin being pushed back, like, it sucked. And I just want to know the answers, because we don't know going into next year, like, what it is. And we're all saying we're not drafting him, right? If he's going to go in the same spot, 7th round.
I don't want him in the 7th, man. There's too many weapons there. Too many variables.
I don't have enough receivers by the 7th round to put him in my wide receiver 2 spot.
They need to tell us everything, guys.
Good! Tell me everything!
Okay, they were both here. They were both inside me. Eduardo was in my mouth and Luther was in my butt.
Oh my God, no, don't tell me everything. What? No, what?
Damn it, Bonnie!
Eduardo who?
Sanchez.
Holy shit, tell us more.
Then Luther went in Eduardo's butt for a while.
Tell us less. Tell us less.
Then they both completed on each other. I was left out of the finale.
Terrible.
I didn't play my favorite clip for Egbuka. We didn't even call him this. A big boo. It's not a Mecca Egbuka. It's a Mecca Big Boo.
You got to give credit to this rookie sensation wide receiver out of Ohio State, Emeka Egbuka. Emeka Egbuka. Emeka Egbuka.
Did you see at the NFL honors the guy that was presenting the awards when Offensive Player of the Year was announced for JSN?
Yeah,
I can't say it. My skin's too bright or too white, pale, whatever.
Njigba was mispronounced. Is that what you're trying to say?
Dude, look it up. Where's your cutaway? Let's put this in.
Who was it?
It was Drew.
Was Donald Trump reading the awards? Trump was reading the awards,
right?
And he specifically mispronounced it?
No, it was somebody who's allowed to say the N-word.
Oh, yeah. Black people can say black people words. Fuckers.
Exactly. Look, dude, I'm telling you. Put it in. Look it up.
Just like I can call you guys a couple fucking crackers. You know what I mean? Although, I'll just say this. If a black man calls me a cracker, you know what I say? Thank you. I am a cracker. Yeah, I am what I am. You know what I mean? I'm a white dude. Fine.
I don't care.
The other word carries a little bit more negative history behind it. So I don't think there's a lot of bad word.
You got any cheese and summer sausage? Let's party.
Yeah. All right. Mouse South in the house. Emeka Igbigbu. Guess I'm keeping the lights on. Mouse South always keeps the lights on here. Get crunked, Rob. I have a shot just for you. Real quick. My bad, Mouth. I did not upload the graphic that Blake gave me. That's my bad. I was a little sidetracked today with the wife. Downtown Sports Boys. Link in the description. Every Tuesday. They had 2 shows come out this week, and one is a pretty epic rant. I don't want to give you the topic of the rant. It has to do with the Olympics and something someone said that's in power. Anyways, other than that, though, awesome NFL, NBA, even some NHL on there, MLB. So they do real sports. We do fantasy sports, kind of our sister podcast partner here. So we appreciate you, Mouse South. Downtown Sports. Link in the description, gentlemen. Check it out. I have to rip a shot for that one. We love Mouth around here.
You want me to
Let's
rip
go.
one too?
Let's go. Yeah.
Do I need to
of course.
pour one?
I got to get back to the next round.
Pull, please.
Pour one, whatever you got to do.
Oh, hold on. He's gonna get one. Let's do
Yeah.
one
Well, I'm
together.
gonna hold on. We're going to continue with the show though. I have to keep on going. You know what I'm saying? Next round, 8th round. We had nobody deserved it in the 8th round. I didn't do a lot of research after this, but I don't think there was anyone worth it. 9th round, Travis Etienne. This one was money in the bank. Now, the Tank Bigsby trade. This is similar to the thing we're talking about with Micah Parsons getting traded. The Tank Bigsby trade directly affected Travis Etienne. Like we're saying that Parsons didn't help Pickens, it did. This was like, okay. Now a lot of people bumped up Bashaw Tootin, right? Bashaw Tootin was the one that was bumped up. But this just cleared the fucking runway for Travis Etienne to just ball out, Nico.
I would have bumped Etienne, man. And I
bump them both.
Yeah.
Same.
I missed the boat, man. That was a steal. Props to anybody who got him there. You can't. That was, to me, looking at the whole list, man, that's got to be one of the steals of the draft. I'm mad impressed at anybody who took ETN down there. The fact that you can put him in your flex and roll out those numbers, amazing.
It was golden, man. I'm not a big ETN fan, but the value he provided, especially in PPR. Remember the game he had 3 catches for like 50 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. Like, dude was balling out. I don't think he's a very good player, but he's gone this year. But it was 9th round. We're talking great pick. Did you have any shares of ETN, Tom?
I had a couple, and I think a piece of advice that you can kind of take is really looking at team construct, because that was I came around late on ETN. But looking at the lay of the land for the Jaguars, like they made good investments in that defense over the last handful of years, so that was kind of coming. Obviously, we thought BTJ was going to be good, and Liam Cohen there, like that team as a whole got better. So it's like it's not crazy to see or to say that this team is going to be hanging around in games a little bit more neutral game script, even positive game script, which in general is going to boost up your running back value.
You think so? A lot of Bears fans are talking about ETN, get rid of Swift, bring in ETN. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of either of these guys, but I think they're the same player. Do you guys agree?
I was going to say, I feel like you're kind of making a lateral move there.
Yep. Take the cheaper one.
ETN's got better vision
because they love Kyle Monangai. I don't know about that. And again, that's Swift does not have good vision, but ETN has never been a guy that's like, that guy's got good vision. All right, we ready for a shot here?
Yep, I am creating a cardinal sin for your sister podcast.
Let's go, team.
What's the cardinal sin?
I just shot Elijah Craig.
What is that? I don't get it.
It's a really good bourbon that you're supposed to just sip. You're not supposed to shoot. You may be on the rocks. Like, you're a gentleman with that.
Oh. Yeah, well, gentleman's chug too. All right, 10th round. This is the weird one. Cam Scatterbo. It was basically off the 4 games that you got, right? 10th round, you got 4 awesome performances, capped off by that 3 touchdown game. Not capped off, it wasn't the last one, but that 3 touchdown game against the Eagles on Thursday Night Football. Epic stuff there from Cam Scatterbo. And the 10th round, getting 5 awesome weeks in your lineup where he was a must start, right? And let's not forget, the game he got hurt was against the Broncos, I believe. He got hurt in the first quarter. He got 11 fantasy points, 11 PPR points in the first quarter of the game he got injured on. So he was going to have another monster game. He was going to be an RB1, probably a top 6 running back. So Cam Scatabo, were you guys about Cam this year? Because I was about him because Tyron Tracy was going ahead of him, which made no sense.
I was sleeping on Cam. I didn't want anything to do with that offense. I didn't think they were going to be great. But what I will say is if you look up the picture of Scatabo and Fitzpatrick, that's me and TD, bro. I know you're looking for some nicknames. You're looking for some nuances, but you find the picture where they're in the end zone, dude. I'm telling you, it is us. Like, I haven't found a better like.
Yep. And shocker that Nick and I are aligned as again. I wasn't the biggest fan of Scatteroo. Like I liked the antics and I loved everything about the person that Scatteroo is. He's an easy guy to like and root for. I had concerns about the size and the running style because call it a little bit of profiling, but like when you look at like some of these other like bulkier physical white running backs, I'm like, this guy's not built like Peyton Hillis. He's not built like Toby Gerhart. Like, is he going to hold up with this style? And that was kind of my concern a little bit. I thought he was going to have some value as far as being a, short yardage hammer, things of that nature. Could have been one of those guys that, fell forward into the end zone for 8-10 touchdowns, but I did not see this level of productiveness and efficiency coming out of him.
I gotta shout out Cruz. I've not seen Cruz in a while. Shout out Cruz, one of the best people in the Discord. I know you'll be back by next football season, but I got a double X shirt waiting for you, my dude. Love this guy. All right, let's move on to the next pick, which is gonna be. Let's see, this is the last one here. All right, next pick, the 11th pick. I gotta take this. You got the picture?
Yep, I sent it to you guys.
We have Javonte Williams, round 11. This is a no-brainer. This is right up Tom's wheelhouse here. Javonte Williams was essentially Cam Scatterbo all year. He faltered towards the end. They had a shoulder injury. But Javonte Williams, round 11, was the perfect 0 RB target. I know a lot of people aren't doing 0 RB anymore, but this dude just dominated in the 11th round. And a lot of people didn't see it coming. Did you guys see it coming?
Man, I thought he was done, personally.
Simple put.
Yeah. I'm like, in my mind, somebody had to win that job. I knew Miles Sanders was washed, and watching Williams tape out of where did he come from? South Carolina, I want to say. USC or UNC?
No, he was North Carolina, UNC.
North Carolina, yeah. And it was one of the two. Dude was a prolific.
Him and Michael Carter. Remember Michael Carter? Michael Carter was the 1-2 punch there. Jets guy, yeah.
Yep. So there was some looming optimism if Williams could ever get back to, that level of health. So it's like the talent wasn't in question. It was kind of the hampered by injuries. And Dallas is a pretty notorious team for leaning on one back. I know they drafted Jaden Blue in the 5th round, and there was, some hype and buzz around that. So I'm like, I can definitely see him working as more of that third down type back, catching passes, taking a little bit off of Javonte's plate. But as far as the early downs work, I thought Javonte was kind of clearly the best option at the time that they had. So I leaned him in a handful of situations because at that point in the draft, you're taking dart throws. And I feel like the Dallas running back, the guy that's going to get the majority of the carries at that point in time.
Touchdowns.
Right. So I had a decent bit of exposure when and where I could get him. And it obviously paid off in a big way. I didn't see this type of, season coming from him, but I think it's more safe to say that at this point of his career, he's fully recovered from that injury, and maybe he's got a few more good years left. I don't know if I want him back in Dallas.
No, next year I'm not about him. I was all about him this year. It was a couple of reasons why. It was you mentioned Jaden Blue, like the third down stuff. That dude is never ready to play in the NFL. Definitely not ready for third down stuff. You got to be smart. That's the hardest part of the position.
The pass
and Miles
pro,
Sanders,
for
we all
sure.
know, was washed. So like the Jaden Blue, like get out of town with that shit. And then also 2 years removed from major injury. I know everyone is expected to come back. You know, Adrian Peterson kind of broke the mold there because that guy's a freak. But like the next year is 50-50, right? And it's rare that the first year is what it's supposed to be. The second year, okay, this was 2 full years. Some guys with certain, it takes 2 years. And again, Javonte didn't look great this year. He looked better at the beginning of the year. He looked okay,
sure.
but the thing is, he's a professional running back. And I got to put this up here. For those of you watching, you know, I didn't make this list, by the way. This is Underdog's list of best drafts. I'm gonna put up my pillar players here for you guys because I hit on like so many of these guys. I had George Pickens, Chris Olave, Cam Scatterbo, and Javonte Williams, and Storey had he had Buka, Pickens, Olave, Jonathan Taylor. So we had a lot of these dudes on our PP's list, and Tucker Kraft would have very well been the best pick in the 9th round had he not got hurt. So I also had Justin Fields. We both had Justin Fields on our list for what that's worth. But I mean,
yeah, but you didn't have 2 Jets on your pillars list.
No, he did. I know. That's funny. That's a whiff from Storey. So these are the guys I was all about. We do this every year. That's our best show. Our pillar players, 10 players we're building our foundations on. Tom, you said you played 9 leagues this year, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's pretty sicko. I mean, I played 36 because I count my wife's leagues. 25 of my own and 11 of hers that I draft, and then we co-manage hers, I guess. But I'm the sicko. Like obviously, I have like a addiction. I'm a heroin addict for fantasy football, maybe meth,
Clearly.
something like that. But 9 leagues, I'll give you that. That's more than 98% of the population. So it's a lot.
And I mean, I've been dialing it back over the years. When I was in college, I was a student athlete for a little bit there, so I didn't have any time to make money, but I had enough time to invest heavily into fantasy football. So that was kind of
What's the most you ever played? What's the most leagues?
18 leagues was the most I ever played.
Ooh.
Yeah, man.
See, you've heard the saying. Go ahead, Nick.
I'd have 2 Yahoo accounts at one point, man. And then it got gross. And Tom and I too. We're like, Tom, join this. He's like, Nick, join this. Like we've been battling for a long time, and now the 3 of us are in my home league, man. My heartfelt, my love y'all league. And Rob, big announcement here. I don't know if Dom knows. Maybe Dom's watching. Who knows? I don't think he is.
No, I'm a liberal, bro. He would never watch my show. I'm a fucking liberal, bro. Are you serious? Didn't you hear what I said about Bad Bunny? Fucking love Bad Bunny.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna quit, and Mark's gonna take over the team again, man. So we got Mark
Free money
back. We got fam back in the house, man. Mark's brother Joe is already in it. Tom's familiar with all of us. There's mad love there. So Storey, it's you. It's half of the show, dude. We got to get the
half of the show now.
I love it.
I love it. I've been trying to get Joe on forever. I stopped asking just because I'm not going to ask you 10 times to come on my show. It's a privilege. It's not like you're not. I mean, maybe you're doing me a favor, but I have a lot of guests to come on, so it's more of an honor to be asked on the show than it's for me to ask you. And one last thing, 18 leagues, Tom. That's amazing. Congratulations. Once I went to 20, I've been playing like 24 leagues or more the last 7 years. But you know the saying, once you go black, you can't go back, which I can confirm is true. Don't ask me how I know that, but once you go 20 plus leagues, you can't go back because it's the stock market, dude. It makes fantasy easier because you don't ever have to press to draft your guys. They're going to come to you. You could get 8 shares of your guy at cost or maybe even after cost. If you play 4 leagues, you're reaching for those guys because you have to get them, right? And that's a losing strategy. That's why I beat a lot of people in my home leagues because these motherfuckers are reaching for guys 2 rounds early because if they don't get them, that's the only chance they have to get them. I have a million chances to get these dudes. I'll take value, and then I'll reach on guys like Javonte Williams, for instance, because it's a 1-round reach. Okay, 10th round, is that really a reach? Not for me.
Nick,
all right, we got to move on, though, to the
2 leagues?
rest of the leagues. Yeah, 2 leagues. He's going to play more next year, though.
I would hope so. I kind of miss you, buddy.
Hey, you guys have a spot. You guys have a spot in the Professional Fanatics Dynasty League. If you guys want to split the league, $100 entry, co-manage since Nico has a lot of family time to deal with. But if you guys want to split the league, there is a spot.
I got a lot, dude. I'm telling you, man. There's a lot of other things that I prioritize, and it's all family. That's a lot of other things.
Ain't no shade. I'm not gonna shade you for being the best dad in the fucking world, bro. Like, hats off to you, Nick. And as you know, I always speak up on you in those regards.
Mad respect. But TD, right now on the pod, man, you want to commit? We doing this? We gonna wreck this league, me and you, or what? You want to go halvesies?
You want that, Rob?
Yeah.
Do you want a piece of this?
He clearly didn't see the picture of Scat and Fitzpatrick.
You think I'm scared? You think I'm scared?
Clearly didn't see the picture of Fitzpatrick and Scat. Let's do it. Let's run it.
All right.
Hey, how many leagues did you win on those 9? I'm just wondering how many leagues.
What's that? That's our team photo.
Yeah, no, has to be.
No way around.
Tom, how many leagues did you win out of the 9?
1, 3, and I hit playoffs in 7 and 9. 1, 3, hit money in 5.
I had 32 out of 36 playoffs, which is insane. Only
that
won
is
9,
a wild ratio.
But I did place in the money. I played the place in the money in 24. So it was a rough playoffs. As I always have rough playoffs. But my advancement rate in terms of making the playoffs is always unreal. And then you know what? You advance if you're good at fantasy. You advance teams. You should advance, and then they get smoked. That's just what happens.
Yeah.
So it's fine. You know what? I'm all about the money, and I just want to get as many teams to the dance as I can. And the dance, I'm just saying the fantasy playoffs, because as we know, the format of fantasy football, as much as we love it, is a joke. Regular season should be weighted way heavily. That's why in my leagues, I like to pay out 100%. Regular season high points, because that's the fucking best team, and you deserve to at least get your money back for that. Mouse says, wait, someone called you a liberal, Rob? The only thing that was cool about Bad Bunny show was every American flag. By the way, when we draft in Dynasty is going to be in draft's going to be May. It's going to be May.
It's going to be May.
It's going to be May. Yeah, dude. No. It's not only called me a liberal, like is adamant about that I'm a liberal, which is hilarious. And I've had multiple conservatives call me this, but like the thing is, I have a lot of really, really far right-wing friends. I don't have a lot of far left-wing friends, but I can guarantee you if I had left-wing blue-haired friends, which I wouldn't because they're insane as well, they would call me a conservative. Like I am both. But the thing is, I'm neither. I fucking hate all y'all, all you politic fucking Bible bumpers. I don't give a fuck. I just want to like watch football and porn and like my dog. I love my dogs. I love my wife. Right? I love football. I like playing drums. I like just positivity. And politics is the opposite of positivity, guys. It's not positivity. It's very toxic. People like literally lose their jobs, lose their family, lose their friends over this shit, which is just wild to me. Fucking wild. It's just weird. It's you know what, they're searching for something, and you know what, they're not going to find the answer in what they're searching, because this is not the answer. Can we just all hold hands and sing Kumbaya?
So Rob, I gotta ask. I'm getting way off the politics here because it doesn't matter. Yeah. The Dynasty League. Who else is in this? It's me and Tom are going to be a manager, and you, and who else wants to lose to us? I'm very curious about this.
So I want to get as many fans in as I can, right? So all the co-hosts are splitting teams. Me and Storey are splitting a team. You two are splitting a team now. And then Chaz and Ray are splitting a team. So it's 6 of us of the co-hosts. So there's 3 teams for co-hosts, and there's going to be 9 teams of fans. Mouth has a team. Blake has a team. Dakota has a team. I don't know exactly the list, but we have, I think, 1 spot left up for grabs. Someone will grab that. We'll get all the details later, but Mouth, it's gonna be an awesome league. GT, if you want to get in, like I said, one spot left, gentlemen. 1 spot left. We gotta get back to this list though. We are not even on to the worst draft pick. So let's kind of breeze through these.
I know.
We were talking about Dallas Goedert. We don't talk about Dallas Goedert too much. Great situation.
He was gooder.
Stole all Saquon's touchdowns.
Goedert was gooder.
Stole all Saquon's touchdowns. 5 of those touchdowns, 4 of those touchdowns were on shovel passes. I mean, what are we talking about? But that was a state of the tight end position, right? It was rough. It was terrible. And Dallas Goedert played every game. He was fine. And, it was just a bad position. So at the round he was going in, we got round 12. That was amazing. Kyle Pitts, another tight end, 13. And again, 20 or 25% of his fantasy points came in 1 game. What an epic game that was, gentlemen. But this is, again, the position. I'm just so pissed about Tucker Kraft getting hurt, because Tucker Kraft was the best pick of all fantasy. Would you guys agree with that one?
the return on investment that you were getting from Kraft when he was playing was astronomical, and he was a difference maker in leagues. And you didn't have to spend that high capital to get that elite tight end. You were getting him way later in drafts, and it paid dividends while he was healthy.
I agree. I got him where I thought I felt where he was going to be a steal. Rob and I traded. We got a sneak preview here. Guy coming up, Rico Dowdle, is the one I traded to Rob, or Rob traded to me for Tucker Kraft.
Yeah,
So
we made that swap. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, he had the Tucker Kraft love, and I swiped him around early, so it worked out, man. But both of those, Dowdle and Kraft, were mad steals where you could get them.
Damn straight. GT wants to get in the dynasty. We will talk, GT, but I'll talk to you in the Discord tonight about it, and we'll figure out some details. Next pick, Quentin Johnson. We'll breeze over Kyle Pitts. Quentin Johnson, round 14. Awesome September. It's just what it was, right? He was wide receiver 4. Remember having all these fights about people. I was the Ladd McConkey guy, even though I hate Ladd McConkey. I was just like, I'd rather have Ladd McConkey rest of the year, week 4, than Quentin Johnson. Everyone called me an idiot. That turned out to be true. And that's saying how bad was Ladd McConkey the rest of the year. He still finished ahead of Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, not great, but they both were gross. I don't know what happened there. That team fell apart.
Round 14, though, it was good because you got essentially a wide receiver 1 for a month, and then you got a couple other nice sprinkle games. But Tom, what are your thoughts on Quentin Johnson? And obviously, real quick before I ask you that question, Nico, remember when you had Quentin Johnson as your number 1 receiver coming out of the draft?
Nope, I don't remember that.
Ooh,
everyone in the industry did. Remember where I had him? Just to preface what we're going to be doing. No, 8th. It was 8th.
Oh, okay, 8th.
Check the film. 8th. Lowest of anyone in the industry. I promise you, no one had him at 8. And it wasn't for effect, just like I'm saying Tre'Von Henderson is the worst goddamn player ever. It's not for effect. Quentin Johnson was always a bad pick in the first round. He was always a project. It came true. So stay tuned for the our NFL draft coverage because you're going to get some calls like that. Also, shout out my boy Storey who was talking about Puka Nacua all motherfucking offseason, Nico. You know this. Yep. No one was talking about Puka in the draft process. He was talking about him before he was even drafted. And wow, that's what we do on this channel. We win.
Couple of pros, baby. Love y'all.
We win. So Quentin Johnston, Tom, what are your thoughts? It was a decent year because of September. That's about it, right?
I mean, yeah, you can look at the box sheet and you can see where a majority of his production came from. Somebody had to catch the ball there, and you knew the target distribution was going to be widely spread across him. Keenan Allen, Old Faithful, is back, which shout out to Nick who turned me on to him towards the later part of the draft year. Just, a guy that gets open will catch the ball, turn over the sticks, so on and so forth. But when you looked at the receiver core as a whole, and obviously they brought in rookie Trey Harris, who was a pretty comparable specimen to Quentin Johnson, but he had that rapport. Rookie was going to take a little bit longer to get up. So Quentin Johnson was that different type of receiver in the Chargers offense. And that's what made him more appealing in those later rounds, was somebody's going to be the deep downfield guy. Someone's going to be the jump ball guy in the end zone. And that clearly favored Johnson in the receiving room.
Yeah, man. 2 touchdowns week 1. That came out of nowhere. That's a DFS fucking darling right there.
Home run.
Let's move on to, we got Rico Dowdle at 15. This was on the back of that October. I believe it was October, right? It was 3 awesome games, including a game where he shredded up your fucking Cowboys after calling you guys out. It's interesting, as I heard a lot of people saying that he might go back to the Cowboys because, let's just ask a Cowboys fan. You'd rather have Rico Dowdle than Javonte Williams next year, right?
At this point, yes.
So that'd be a really good spot because he's explosive.
Right, and that's the thing is that was the element that we were missing from Williams. It was that home run hitting ability, that explosiveness to just 1 foot in the ground, hit the hole, and just burst through. And for all the good that Javonte did, that was the element of his game that was missing.
We have,
and you saw Dowdle have that
Dakota,
in spades.
Ben Stiller and Rob have a good brain. Beer chug. Oh God, I have to. I love these guys. We owe another chug. You don't have to partake if you don't want, but I have to do it because that's what I
got
do, and that's what I
got
care
half a
about.
beer. I'll
There
kill
you
it.
go. Where the hell is it at, man? I had a clip in here. Here it is. So I got a good brain.
Simple Jack, the story of a mentally impaired farmhand who can talk to animals, was a box office disaster that many critics called one of the worst movies of all time.
Got a good brain.
I think you've got a fine brain, Jack.
You make me happy.
But now the question is, can Speed...
He can. Mouth, keep getting crunky, keep drinking, join the Patreon. Guys, professionalfanatics.com. Get in the goddamn community. This chat, this show goes on 24/7 in the Discord. Tom, you got to join the goddamn Discord. I sent you the invite.
You did, and I recently
Talk to the
re-downloaded
people.
Discord onto my phone. So
Yeah, there you go. See,
let's
he's
get
already
in there.
on
Let's
it.
get talking, guys.
Mouth, you're that super didn't count for the next goal, but I'm mentally noting it. We only need 4 for the next one. I have to owe a chug here. We'll get to the next name before I do that. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Dakota. Thank you, Mouth, as always. Downtown Sports Boys, link in the description. Check it out. It's only one show a week. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours a week. You guys tune into this show, what? Sometimes some of you guys are watching 20 hours a week. That's how much I'm live. So like you can take 2 hours your day. I'll even allow you to take 2 hours every day. Check out their show. I always listen to it when I go to bed. I'm laying in bed, listen to the show, listen to Mouth, scream about something. I love it. He's passionate. He's good. That's what he does. And Beast, his co-host, is all-time epic. So it's a very professional program. 23 platforms. You could find them on everywhere but YouTube. By the way, they interviewed Trey and Matt Parker. They interviewed Imagine Dragons, who I personally hate, but they're a big band. This is a long time ago. They have Iron Eagle on their show twice a year. Iron Eagle. No offense to you, Tom, and you, Nico. You guys are not Iron Eagle. So I love you, though.
I'm close.
Understood. That's fair.
One day. Now I am Iron Eagle. Anyways, Rico Dowdle, awesome pick. Michael Wilson, my boy, my man, my lover, round 16. Nico, you know how much I love Michael Wilson forever. Loved him this year, and it was my number one pickup. The week that I heard of Marvin Harrison getting hurt, I feel like most shows were on him the next week after he blew up. If you watch this show, you had him that day. It was a priority pickup. And again, one of these guys that exceeded my expectations wildly because, I mean, what a monster. What a monster.
You should have had him. You should have had him before Marvin went down, dude. Marvin hasn't panned out. He's not living up to the hype. He's not his dad at this point or anywhere near it. And somebody else has to catch the ball. They got to move it. They're going to be down. They're going to be throwing. So the Wilson call is a beautiful call.
Next year's interesting because if he stays with the team, obviously I'm taking Marvin Harrison ahead of him as much as I love Michael Wilson, like the draft capital and the perceived talent Marvin Harrison is going to reign supreme. Jacoby Brissett, most likely.
Thing.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's Jacoby Brissett. Yeah. They got to trade Michael Wilson. I want him for every reason, right? Like it's a crowded room. They're not in win-now situation. Get what you can from Michael Wilson. Trade him to the Bills. Trade him to the Titans. Imagine him with Josh Allen.
Trade him to the Niners.
Woo! Tom, I have a specific question for you in the chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, how overrated does Tom think Josh Allen is in non-fantasy football? So just in terms of actual football, I got to take a pee while you answer this.
A scale of 1 to 10, how overrated? So 10 being very overrated, 1 being not underrated. I think you've seen a lot out of Josh Allen that has specifically himself carried a lot of that Bills offense at times. So I don't think you can say he's a super overrated player. Now, when you get Chris Collinsworth or Tony Romo on the mic and, 6-7 inches down their throat just talking about Josh Allen, I can see why there would be that presumption of overratedness or overhype, whatever you want to call it. I think the guy's done a lot in just the progression coming from Wyoming to the prospect that he was, where there was a lot of work involved in him. And you saw that year 1, year 2, where the struggles were there. And I think he's put in the work. I think he's, rightfully brought himself to a level of stardom. And general media perception, I'll say, is higher, but I'll go with a 3 or a 4. I don't think he's too overrated just because when you look at the lay of the land, he does a lot for that team. And if you we were talking about CJ Stroud. Like, if you take CJ Stroud, put him in that Bills situation, I don't think the Bills are nearly as an effective team. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think you got to give a lot of credit to Josh Allen for what he does.
They don't have the wide receiver support. They don't have the offensive line support. The O-line can run block. They're not the best pass blockers that you've ever seen. Their defense isn't lights out. Allen has been a major part of that team every single year, a huge part of their success. I could argue he should be MVP almost every year. Like, as in, he produces most of the percentage of that offense compared to every other team. Allen's a badass, man. I love him. And where he came from and where he struggled early, I get it. But
what's your number?
I don't think he's overrated, man. I got him like a 3. He ain't overrated at all.
Yeah, I can't put a number on it. I don't necessarily think I'm a big Josh Allen fan. Apparently I am. I respect the dude. I think if you were to poll every NFL GM, how many quarterbacks are you taking over Josh Allen is the question. And this is what I throw to the Matt LaFleur thing, right? It's like everyone wants to fire Matt LaFleur. How many teams would fire their head coach to have Matt LaFleur right now? Like 27 of them. So I think the answer is 30. 30 teams would want Josh Allen as their starting quarterback. Yeah. As much as we like Lamar, like Jalen Hurts, like who are we talking about? It's Patrick Mahomes is the only one that you could say I want over Josh Allen. And let's be honest, dude, Patrick Mahomes has not played well the last 2.5 years. It's not been good. Josh Allen has been better than Patrick Mahomes the last 2.5 years.
If I were to start a franchise and I could pick anybody I want, I'm taking Allen as my number 1 quarterback. That's what I'm saying. So he's not overrated. I put him at like a 3 on the 1 to 10 overrated scale. And part of that is it's Cook, and Cook was able to run the ball, and Buffalo was able to be a little successful, but man, he hasn't had the receivers. Like, he's been such a huge part of that offense. He's not overrated at all.
And going to Mouth's comment about, more media coverage, I kind of touched on it in my little spiel about Allen, but yeah. And Rob, I assume you heard it, but commentators will definitely deep throat Allen to a good point where it's like,
I heard you say 6 or 7 inches, and we all know Josh Allen's 8 inches. Okay,
right.
Come on, give the guy some credit.
Look at his wife.
6 or 7 inches. That dude's 6'5". Yeah, he's huge. He's huge.
He doesn't got the Mahomes foot long.
Right. But no, I definitely think the media blows it out of proportion to an extent, and the media aspect of it, I would probably say 6 or 7, given that scale and range. I think they do a little.
Josh Allen lost the game. Josh Allen lost that Denver game, Dakota. And again, I make excuses. The excuse was, I'm not talking about the foot injury. I'm saying he sometimes tries to do too much. That's his biggest fault. And Joe Brady is an idiot. I don't know why they hired Joe Brady as their head coach. He's not a good offensive coordinator. He's an idiot.
No improvement there whatsoever.
The only good plays I've ever seen Joe Brady make, I'm exaggerating a bit, are those hook and ladders. He's really good at that. He's really great at hook and ladders. But unfortunately, you cannot build an offense around hook and ladders unless you're in the Arena Football League. And this is not the Arena Football League. So in the regular season, Josh Allen makes a lot of mistakes. His playoff losses have not been on him. Besides the Denver game, besides maybe his first playoff loss and his last playoff loss, which is, you think I'm saying that's a lot of them, he had 4 other ones in between there, right? Where Patrick Mahomes MJ'd him. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to move on and finish our list real quick. Last couple names, let's just brush through these guys. Woody Marks, that in 17th round, good pick. I mean, all the volume. I was saying the whole time Joe Mixon was not playing football this year, and that came to fruition. I don't know if Joe Mixon's ever stepping foot in the football field again. You think Joe Mixon gets another NFL carry, guys?
Nope. Done.
I'm not there.
Donezo.
Yeah, he's gone. Definitely never another starting NFL carry. And then Harold Fannin in the 18th round, typically undrafted or 18th round. That was a great fucking pick. Great pick, old Harry Fannin, man.
Where's Njoku going next year?
Man, he's still kind of young. Let's not forget, David Njoku was a 20-year-old rookie. So, David Njoku might be 28, 29, but,
where's he end up?
Maybe the Giants?
Top of the head, if Pitts leaves, Falcons got to fill a hole. The Eagles are very renowned for getting ahead of, players aging out. So I could definitely see them making a move a little bit cheaper. Like we were talking about tight end pays. earlier. I could definitely see the Eagles making that type of move. Wouldn't love it for myself, and also like Broncos are kind of hunting tight ends in the draft, but like that could definitely be a move that I see them making.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it, dude. It's the Broncos. It's totally the Broncos, dude.
It makes too much sense.
Mal says Giants. I said Giants. Now, here's the only problem. Isaiah Likely would be a great fit. Unfortunately, Isaiah Likely is really, really bad as a run blocker, but you got the Harbaugh ties, right? So if it's not Isaiah Likely, I think the Giants make a lot of sense. Again, I'm a guy that loves Theo Johnson. Theo Johnson's a monster.
He's a willing blocker,
what I said earlier in the show, right, is that the NFL is moving in a different direction. You want 2 tight ends, and Njoku mixed with Theo Johnson.
Or Theo and Likely.
Yeah.
I don't. He's okay. Tom said Theo's a willing blocker. He's not a good blocker. He's much better than Likely. He's a willing blocker, right? And Njoku's a way better blocker than Likely. So I feel like Theo would be your move tight end, and then Njoku would be your inline tight end. Which, if you bring in Likely, now you have to keep Theo as the inline tight end. Which I don't. He could get to that point because he's a monster, right? But like a lot of work. Yes. So I think that Miles had a great call here. The Giants do make a lot of sense. Harbaugh loves tight ends, and I think Njoku still has something left in the tank. It's wild. He's been in the league for a long time, guys.
Yeah,
long time. Let's get to our worst picks here, and I think I might have one of those guys on my list. I don't know. I hope not. I hope not. So first name here, Justin Jefferson in the first round.
That's a JJ problem.
And that was my biggest thing all year was you bring in a handoff merchant out of college. He gets hurt. You haven't seen the guy play. He never showed me enough at Michigan to make me a believer. And I know we have the KOC ordeal where, he's a quarterback whisperer in the league, so on and so forth. But I didn't see the platform coming out of college with McCarthy that made me trust JJ enough as a first rounder. And honestly, the non-committal comments from the coaching staff there about wanting to bring in competition for McCarthy is the only real hope I have for Jefferson. Because we saw it with Carson Wentz in the 3-4 games that he played. Like, all you got to do is get this guy a catchable target.
The hope is he's an all-time talent, which we all know. But, like, for the hope for fantasy, I think is what you're referring to. Because he's going to be drafted high because his name value, right?
Correct.
Very high. I have a super from Mouth again. By the way, AJ Brown has started following Scatabo, Jackson Dart, Anthony Thomas, Malik Neighbors on Instagram. So the whole team he followed on Instagram individually, and they don't trust Theo Johnson. I think that you're saying they don't trust him in terms of the pass blocking kind of stuff, but I think they do trust him in terms of the talent. So what are your thoughts on AJ Brown to the Eagles? Because the problem is that's an in division trade, which I feel like the Eagles are, how it's like an old thing in sports. It's a stupid thing where you don't trade in division because whatever. I think if you take the best value you can because the Eagles aren't scared of other teams. That's why this could happen, right? Most teams would never do this. You think this could happen, Nico? Or Howie Roseman's smart. No. So, like, could this happen?
I don't, man. You're not going to make that to trade into your division. He's too talented of a player. You don't want to go against him twice a year. I say just move him to San Francisco and, you don't got to worry about him in the East.
Okay, all right. Get out of here. You're gonna say you can't say moving to the Cowboys. They have too many wide receivers. But yes, traditional knowledge says you don't do this trade in division, right? But this is Howie Roseman. He is better than everyone else, division, and dude. But you do if you get the most value, right, Tom? Like
didn't stop Howie from calling about Parsons. I mean, of all the GMs out there that I see making that move,
but it didn't happen.
No, but again, the value wasn't there. Dallas was hunting D tackle and picks, and when Dallas entertained the Eagles conversation, it was Carter and picks, and that shut that down pretty quick.
I'd have been about that if I was Dallas.
Oh,
I'd take Carter all day.
I heard that, and I just heard the report about there was even a conversation had, and immediately hard.
Hold on a second. I have the draft slots up here. They are going to draft. They are the 5th pick. They're going to draft Carnell Tate, guys. That makes a lot of sense. I'm not a big fan of him. I've been on the show comping him to. He's a mix between George Pickens and Alshon Jeffrey, is what I see from Carnell Tate film, which is not bad.
No,
Yeah,
that's-
he's the same
those are
exact
fair
size
comps.
as Alshon Jeffrey, and it's a good player. He's the most pro-ready player coming into this draft at wide receiver. So that's what the Giants need, something to take some stress away from Malik Neighbors, and also some the durability concerns with Neighbors are real beyond the ACL. Like, you need a guy to go out there, run big boy routes, and just take one side of the field away from Malik Neighbors. And that's the other option, right? It's a free agent, it's a trade, or it's Carnell Tate, which they got to do something because they got to give Jackson Dart, give him a reason not to run, I guess is the thing. And
Right.
I think you can do a lot. He's still going to run, but if you give him another weapon, maybe he doesn't run 9 times a game up the middle and get his brains beaten in.
And I'm obviously not a Giants fan, but I will say I'm not one of those shit for Reigns Cowboys fans that just solely dials in on Cowboys hope and next year's our year, blah, blah, blah. So if I put on my Giants cap, I think I kind of like what you were saying with Tate. Like, I feel like the best thing that the Giants could potentially do to address their receiver core in the draft and help themselves with picks as well, because let's be honest, they have more than just one need, is trade down to the early to mid teens and take a hard look at Lemon out of USC.
He's going to go higher than that, though, my dude. People love this kid. They love him.
Some people are, for sure. But that's the thing, is let somebody else fall in love and take Tate. Call it 12. Dallas will trade up. Go get
I'm a
Downs.
big Tyson fan. I love Tyson. I think Tyson's the best player in this draft. All I can say is, as much as I've been not a big Jackson Dart fan coming out of the draft, that dude oozes talent, man.
It's years away, don't care. Jesus Christ. You ooze talent.
There's a way, donkey. All right. Round 2, Brian Thomas. This was the easiest. This might have been one of the biggest misses. Justin Jefferson was a lot of situational stuff. Brian Thomas, again.
I don't want to talk about this.
Because you drafted him?
Oh, man.
Just so you guys know, I had Brian Thomas as my 18th ranked receiver this year.
Terrible.
Not hot take. I had my 18th ranked receiver, which was about 11 spots below consensus. Again, I could also tell you my misses too. Justin Fields. Justin Fields. Sorry, Justin. Brian Thomas, what a bad pick. What a bad everything. Got hurt. But beyond that, if he stayed healthy, it was going to be a bad fucking pick. Nico, what is going on with this?
Professional fanatics. I'm just saying.
What is going on with Brian Thomas? Because the alligator arming, right, was an issue. The drops without alligator arming was an issue. He looked really raw, and Trevor Lawrence played great, right? Parker Washington dominated. You saw Jacoby Myers come in there seamlessly, and Brian Thomas just left on the sideline getting 3 for 40 every game.
I don't know. I can't explain it. I got no answer. I feel like he was talented coming in. I thought it was going to be his year as a wide receiver 1 down there. And you saw these like half-wits, man. The guys you didn't expect it, and they showed out. So the proof is in the pudding, right? Like, he's just done. That's it. Like, BTG or BTJ needs to change scenery. I don't know what else. He's not going to do it down there, man. He ain't going to last.
You think he's done, Tom?
Again, when you put on tape some of the plays that he did from his first year in the league, it tells you that he can do something. But I definitely don't think the situation and setup as a whole culmination wasn't for him. But anytime that I see a player that you look like you can take a snapshot of on a football field, take him and put him into a Florida Gators fan section, that's not a guy that I want catching passes for my quarterback.
Yeah, I love the talent. Like, I love the separation, the speed, the size, all that kind of stuff. But in terms of being a polished receiver, now we're going to year 3. It's not just a Brian Thomas problem. This is a bigger problem with this entire wide receiver class, right? The 2024 wide, we talk about with Roma Dunze, Lad McConkey, like, these guys all took a step back. Marvin Harrison, Jesus, like, it was supposed to be an epic class, like an all-time class, right?
Same. He took the same.
So who's that? Lad?
No, man, Marvin.
Oh, right, Marvin. But it's a bad class, and like, it was so hyped up, and like, they all took a step
to
back.
To the left. Like, he's a terrible line dancer, bro. He just keeps going to the left.
Nick, how much do you think it has to do with Liam Cohen, though? Because Liam Cohen, as we saw, made Chris Godwin. Remember when Chris Godwin and Evans were healthy last year, and Godwin actually outproduced Mike Evans in that Liam Cohen offense. So how much of it has to do with Liam Cohen and just the schematic stuff? Because Brian Thomas is never going to be the underneath guy. He just doesn't have. Yeah. He's not man enough, right? He's not man enough. He doesn't have the fucking route running chops. He is strictly an X receiver that's downfield.
He's too little to get after that, dude. And it's totally Cohen, and it's totally the coach in there. And I think, man, I don't know. I don't got any faith in him no more. Like he was a product of his environment, and he was schemed open. And I want to believe in him, and I loved him coming out of LSU, but I'm out, dude. I lost the faith. I gotta be rejuvenated somewhere else.
Let's get Mac Jones back in there, boys, because Mac
10
was
the GOAT.
It was also Brian Thomas was the only show in town his rookie year at the end of the year. And the thing is, we know he can play because he was seeing double coverage, but it was just the target volume, and he didn't level up as a player. He leveled down as a player, which is very concerning. We got to move on to the next name here on our list. Marvin Harrison, that's more the same. We could talk all day about Marvin Harrison, but is it over for Marvin Harrison, Tom, or do you have hope that the guy we were sold at Ohio State, the generational player, the pro-ready player, which is not, the drops are one thing. For me, the biggest issue is motor, right, and competitiveness. And the only caveat I'll throw in there for you that I think there's hope for him is that there's a chance that, he knew he would have a lot of chances in the NFL. Some of these guys get one chance, right? Remember Malachi Corley when he fumbled that ball in the Jets? Like he was a second-round pick, but he should never been a second-round pick. He got released because of Aaron Rodgers. Marvin Harrison was always going to get 3, 4, 5 chances in the league, right? Just based on his pedigree.
Right.
He hates Kyler Murray. We all hate Kyler Murray. Having that little pipsqueak who doesn't work hard as your quarterback, it's not a motivator. And is there a chance that it was just a Kyler Murray problem? Because when Jacoby Brissett came in, Tom, he was playing well for a week and a half, and then he got hurt, and then the season was over.
I think there's a lot of factors that go into it, which can be said about 90% of these players. But when you have this guy that's supposed to be as good as he is, and you get him in there and you just have him running go routes down the sideline, like that's not a high percentage ball that you catch. And if the talent level is not where we think it's at because of name pedigree or whatever we want to say, this is what we get. This guy's not coming down with 60, 70% of these deep shots down the field. That's pretty unlikely. So part of it, I think, was coaching. Part of it, I think, is ability. Part of it, I think, is on the quarterback. And I'm interested to see if you can get somebody else in there, and curious to see, what LaFleur does with him now. Just if you can expand his route tree, I think there might be hope. But at the same time, we're a fantasy show. So the value's got to match too. And I don't think, even if he takes a step forward, I think there's too much name pedigree around him and too much hype and hope that I don't necessarily know if you're going to get him at a great value where he returns on that investment. So I'm still a little hesitant, but I'm not writing off the player just yet.
Nico, did we miss on Marvin Harrison, the prospect? Because I will still tell you this day, watch Marvin Harrison's college film. It's elite. He was so pro-ready. He was fast. He looked so fast. I know it's college, but he looked great. He looked great, and it just has not transitioned at all.
No, he was beautiful, right? He was sexy. He was, silky smooth. All the things I want to snuggle when I go to bed at night. That's what he was. And now that he's gone into the pros, it's been a little gross, man. And I blame the coach, I blame the coordinator, I blame the quarterback. And I think, dude, even getting
you got to blame Kyler too, though. The laziness, dude, the laissez-faire attitude. You got to blame that too.
But Brisket, I don't think Brisket's the answer. I think Marvin outperforms. I think he's going to have his best year. I think he's going to have his best year that he's had in the pros this year. I really do. But I don't think it's a brisket thing. I don't think it's a quarterback thing. I think it's he really gets after it and starts to grind and not be like, I can be here because of my name or because of my pedigree. He's like, shit, I ain't done nothing yet, and now I'm about to show up, and it's going to be because of his hard work, dude. He's ready to prove his ass. Is where I think he's at. So, I like Marvin. I like Marvin going forward, but at a value.
Real quick before we get on the next name, we got to be quick about this one because we're way behind. This is right up your alley, Nico. Can I have you handle this debate for me? Who's better quarterback, Purdy or Darnold? Been fighting with people about it. Just give me
Purdy.
an answer.
Purdy all day.
We don't count him. He's a Niners fan. Tom, Purdy or Darnold?
I think it's still Purdy. Just the overall set of the career are easy. But you look at what Purdy's done versus what Darnold's done in the times that they've been in the league. I think you've got more sustainability out of Purdy. But I definitely think Darnold's closed the gap.
Darnold has higher upside at this point because now whatever was on his shoulders, which was a major bit because busting at the 3rd overall pick with New York, right? That, like last year, if we thought it got off his shoulder with that nice 14-3 season that should have been 15-2, he did it again this year and he won the Super Bowl. He's had a career achievement award, right? He's there. So the upside is with Sam Darnold because Sam Darnold's bigger, right? He's as athletic, I would say. Okay, Purdy might be a little more athletic, but bigger arm. The upside's with Darnold, but I would still rather have Purdy going forward, but he is still a very, very, very small human being. And I don't like that for my quarterback, man. That also does not age well. Small quarterbacks do not age well. Look at Russell Wilson, man. Look at Russell. Look at Sam. Look at Russell Wilson versus Matt Stafford. Like, Russell Wilson's never starting another game in the NFL. Matt Stafford just won MVP, and he's, 3 years older?
He's a badass, man. He's practically my age, which is disgusting.
But if I ask you 4 years ago, 5 years ago, who was a better quarterback, it was definitely Russell Wilson, right?
Maybe. I mean, you didn't see Russell do it on the 2 different teams, after he got traded and Stafford was killing it over there. But man, I get Purdy's a little undersized, and I just
look at this big, tiny.
Darnold's a product of his environment. He didn't do anything the first few of his 3-4 years in the league. He went to KOC and did great, and he went to Kubiak and did great after he learned under Shanahan and Purdy. So, and he even said it himself. So the fact that like he came out from underneath them to have a couple fantastic years, like good on him, dude. But Purdy to come from where he did to be where he is an even a bigger step. And I believe in Shanahan more than I believe in whoever the next OC in Seattle is.
Right.
That's the common denominator is they're both Shanahan products to this point. And kind of what you were alluding to was the fact that you've seen Darnold on a multitude of different teams. We've never seen Purdy outside of the Shanahan system.
Here's one thing I will say about your boy Purdy, who I love Purdy. He's so small. Don't. He's so small. Dude, he's so small. And I want to say one thing to Kevin, because he's on the Sam Darnold side of this. The Super Bowl ring is nice, but like Jalen Hurts has a Super Bowl ring and also another Super Bowl appearance. But Dak Prescott's better than Jalen Hurts. We all agree with that?
And as a pure passer, yes, dude. But like,
no, as a quarterback, who do you want? Who do you want in the Raiders? I always use the Raiders as an example. Right now, for next season, you want Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott to win the most games?
I want Prescott. Hurts can't throw worth
there you
shit.
go. But Jalen Hurts has the ring. Do you understand? Like it's not an end all be all. It's a nice thing. Like it's nice. At the end of your career, Dan Marino, for instance, gets knocked down a little bit because you don't get a ring if you're an all-timer. Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold most likely aren't all-timers. You know what I'm saying? They could maybe make the Hall of Fame, but I'm saying all-timers. The rings are important for that debate. For we're talking about who's a better player, it's about who's a better player, not who had a better situation this year versus that year. It's the entirety, right? Their entire career.
Purdy is so much more athletic than Darnold, man. He's like a mini Bosa, as they call him. This dude he's got legs for days, dude. He's stacked. Like he can run. He doesn't always do it, but it doesn't mean that he can't. Like I don't know, man. I'm a pretty truther. He's way better than Darnold.
Okay. Yeah. Drew Petzing. We didn't mention the Drew Petzing thing because, the head coach and the coordinator, Drew Petzing's terrible. Drew Petzing's the reason Marvin Harrison and Murray both sucked the past 2 seasons, and he will get Dan Campbell fired in Detroit at the end of the year. Petzing equals garbage.
That was a mistake, dude. Detroit done effed up. You done effed up, Detroit.
Yeah. Ron, you done effed up. God, Jonathan Gannon. That was probably one of the worst staffs. Like the Callahan staff, obviously the Pete Carroll staff, like that's one of the worst staffs I've ever seen. And they didn't handle anything right. And the Kyler Murray thing, the problem is Kyler Murray needs an adult because Kyler Murray is not an adult. And Marvin Harrison clearly is not an adult either, although I guess he's only like 23 years old. So let's throw him a bone. Kyler Murray is not 23 years old anymore. So Kyler, grow the fuck up. We got to move back to the list though, guys.
He's
and
about
we are
Tom's
on
size, right?
5th round.
Isn't Kyler about
Xavier Worthy? Yes, Kyler's about Tom's. So I think Kyler Murray is probably realistically 5'9". I'll give him 5'9". You guys agree?
If I can look you in the eyes and not have to look up and hurt my neck,
5'8".
That's a stretch for a quarterback.
Tom, are you married? Do you have a girlfriend? Are you gay? What's your thing?
Fully single. And open to interpretation.
Girls,
for the most part, yeah.
You into girls? So you're usually eye to eye with all these girls, right?
Most of them. So when I mentioned the whole student athlete thing, didn't think I was going to bring this up, but I was a volleyball player by trade. So we
whoa.
Yeah.
I heard you're a real digger.
Something
Dude,
like
that's
that.
That's like an Asian NASCAR driver.
Right, yeah, we are a rare breed.
Volleyball player?
Yeah.
5'6".
Wow.
But yeah.
5'6". Holy shit.
Yeah, no, I'm a little bit shorter than that. But obviously we were very much tied into the women's volleyball team. So like I was exposed to a lot of taller women, and at the same time, got to mix in some good genes into this pool because, I want to raise some athletes, and not all 5'6" people are going to be me. So want to do them some favors. So I'm definitely not opposed to looking up and climbing a tree.
Female volleyball players are not in your demographic. They're all like 5'10" plus, right?
Nope.
For the most part, yeah.
Tommy's ready to go.
I can't wait. I gotta get a cutaway. I gotta get some cutaways for Tom. I could call you Tom Cruise. You know what I'm saying?
I'll allow it.
I feel like you're a guy that's really comfortable with his height, though, because, like I said, I called you Sean McVay. You're a very handsome gentleman, so you could take the you're very short jokes because you can just be like, "Well, I'm better looking than you," and then that's fair, right?
It's been a long, when you stop growing at 5'6", the way that I've always looked at it is you got one of two options. You can learn to take a joke, or you can learn how to fight, and growing up, wrestling, fighting a little bit of mixed martial arts, I would to do both. But I typically take the joke aspect. Now, I'll probably beat you to the punch on the joke aspect. I'm the first one to joke about my height because, it's never not been a thing for me.
That's a challenge because I'm pretty quick, Nico. So we're going to have a little height battle here. Height joke battle. Mouse says, who is taller, Kyler Murray or Rey Mysterio?
Tom DeBryan.
Mysterio by a mile.
You really think so?
Yep.
Rey Mysterio's tiny, bro.
He was like 5'3". He was a little guy.
He's got Kyler by a mile.
Oh, that's amazing. Where were we at here? We were at Xavier Worthy, guys, 4th round. Wow. This is also mostly just because the Rasheed Rice suspension, right? It was all over the map. It became, the in the middle of the season kind of. And then it was the beginning of the season. But it was a bad pick no matter what. Xavier Worthy is an awful, awful, awful football player. And being tied to Mahomes doesn't actually matter anymore because Patrick Mahomes doesn't put up numbers anymore. And I think we were all waiting. And, Patrick Mahomes' value this year from fantasy was good. It was all with his legs. You know what I mean? All scrambling. And Xavier Worthy's bad. So Xavier Worthy's just done. We all agree. It was a bad pick. He's just done. We're done with him.
Yeah, I think people tried to put too many different storylines together. Andy Reid, the fact that they've had those run past you receivers before, Patrick Mahomes making that step back, like too many things needed to go right for where they'd even pan out at his value with or without the whatever the Rashid Rice suspension was going to be. Yeah, I missed on that in a league or two. I feel that one.
I also am a firm believer of fuck Kansas City, and I want nothing to do with them. So don't draft them. So I was right in that regard. It was a miss.
Your bias is yeah.
It was a miss, and I didn't miss. I was on that one.
Okay, next name, Alvin Kamara. Old running back, bad team, bad usage. No, he had nothing in receiving game this year. It should have been fine, right? If they just threw the ball to running backs.
Kellen Moore
does not do that.
Hashtag Kellen Moore.
He
I saw that coming a mile away, dude.
Yep. He is cancer for pass catching running backs.
Yep.
You saw it with Zeke. You saw it with Eckler. No. Even Barkley.
So he's not coming back. Is this a cautionary tale, though? You're blaming it more on Kellen Moore, or was it more on a combination of the fact that Alvin Kamara couldn't play anymore? Because the film was not great. He declined 3 straight years. A lot of touches, man. He's not a big guy. So
no.
Also, he's gone, right? We're done with him.
Yeah, I would say so. I think they're moving in a new direction, but I think the writing's on the wall with just the amount of targets that you see, because like you could still throw Kamara the ball 6, 7, 8 times a game, and he'd provide some value for PPR. Just catching the ball 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage and falling down, like you're still getting points for that. And you go back through the history of Kellen Moore running backs, and like they've all taken step backs in the receiving game. Yeah. And like I think the biggest one was Eckler, like who made his money off that. He was more or less and it's cut from that same cloth as Kamara, and just it hurt. So that's where I'm at.
I blame the coach more than I blame the player, but the player's age is hard to get away from. But these guys that play these little tiny receiving backs, they can hang on for a little bit. So depending on what New Orleans coordinator coach combo looks like next year, maybe. But for the most part, I'm out.
Yeah, we're out. He should probably just retire. You had a great career. Next guy on the list, Matthew Golden, somehow got up to the 6th round, guys, towards draft season. Remember how the buzz just went from 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th on the end of the 6th towards the end of the year? It was right, perfectly mixed with the fact that we had injuries to the other receivers, right? And it was just like, who else is there? Well, there was a lot of other guys, and it wasn't Matthew Golden. He was awful. His only touchdown catch of the year was in the playoffs, guys. What the fuck are we talking about?
Don't take any Packer receiver, dude, that early.
It was rough. It was the news of the broken bone of the foot of sorry, I'm a little intoxicated. What was the receiver? Jaden Reed. No, Jaden Reed's broken bone in his foot.
Or Dobbs.
The report that he was going to play through it all year, so it was like, well, he's not the one, even though and he also wasn't a number 1 anyway. He was a gadget player. Christian Watson wasn't supposed to come back this year.
Yeah.
The answer was always Tucker Kraft, guys. That was always the answer.
Until he got hurt, that was the answer. I agree.
I'm still so sad. I don't know if you saw the episode, Nick, but I did a eulogy for Tucker Kraft. Again, I had Tucker Kraft in 19 of my 36 leagues, which is it was my most owned. 19 of 36 is unreal.
Including the one I traded into you in.
And I sung Bette Midler. And did you ever know that you're my hero? And it was so sad, man. On top of probably about a 31% ownership in best ball. So that loss, that was like I felt like my dog died. And like I don't just throw that around because I love my dog. When Farley died, it was up there in like devastating moments in my life. And we came back. Harold Fannin, I got to shout out Harold Fannin, Harry Fanny, really helped me out because I was stashing him in a lot of leagues, and what a G that guy was. But yeah, Matthew Golden, bum.
Honestly though, like no matter what you have going on in life, if something goes wrong, put a Harry Fanny in your face, and you'll be all right.
Do you guys have hope for Matthew Golden going forward? Like,
No.
Is there any hope? Because
No.
he's going to be really undervalued in Dynasty in redraft. He'll be free.
I got none hope with any of them, dude. Not a one.
Tom, you out?
I mean, even if Dobbs goes somewhere else, you're looking at a boom bust flex wide receiver 3 at best, and that's not a game that I want to play.
He doesn't seem like a target earner, right? Which is the thing, because he's fast, but he's not dynamic. I still will say to this day that 40 time he ran was fraudulent. If you watch the clip, it was not a 4.39 or whatever they say it was. It was not that. He's fast. He's also tiny and not aggressive. So he's a bum. Next guy here, we have Caleb Johnson. Oh my God. 7th round Caleb Johnson. Mike Tomlin, rookies. Kenneth Gainwell. Honestly, it was the Kenneth Gainwell show. And Jalen Warren, 2 guys that are not number 1 backs, but together they were the number 1 running back. And Caleb Johnson, the fumble on the goal line, it was a kick return. The funny thing is the kick return did him in, right? He was not a guy. He doesn't comp as a guy that should be returning kicks, but with the new kickoff return rules, we just throw anyone back there. Apparently, he should never have been in that situation in the first place. He never returned a kick in his life, and that's what kind of got him in the doghouse. He was in the doghouse, but he got in the doghouse plus. Never saw like more than 2 carries the rest of the year. I still have hope for Caleb Johnson. I think he's the biggest dynasty buy low there is. Loved him in Iowa, but like, what a bad pick, guys. Like this is your like definition of the hipster like rookie guys that always draft all the rookies. Oh, this dude, I heard everyone's like, dude, he's gonna have 280 touches. Like, there's 280 free touches now. Well, you know what? You have to earn touches, guys, and Caleb Johnson's a rookie. Bottom line.
Gross. I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not out. Like, I'm in line with Rob. I love the tape coming out of Iowa, and I was right there. Like, obviously Genty was the best back in last year's draft, and no one's questioning that. But like, I was right there as Caleb with my number 2 as far as a complete back. And I like Judkins. I like the skill set that Henderson had, so on and so forth. But like, you could build the narrative that old school team that wants to just downhill, run the football down your throat. Pittsburgh typically commits to 1 guy. And like, Johnson fit the mold of that every down workhorse type back. And then you start hearing the things about, oh, well, he's struggling in pass pro. It's like, all right, he's a rookie. That makes sense. So naturally insert Warren into the mix. It's like, now he's automatically got a role. And I don't think anybody saw the Gainwell ability coming out of nowhere. Like, it was easy to chalk him up as a product of Philly, so on and so forth. But like, it unfolded in a terrible way for Caleb Johnson. But I think there's hope there. 7th round pick. No. Dynasty value, definitely. And I think 2-3 years from now, once Pittsburgh kind of rehauls a little bit, gets a little bit younger, I think you could see a big year eventually down the road for Caleb Johnson.
But next
Nico,
year,
if they change their coaching staff, and Kenneth Gainwell's most certainly gone. He's going to get paid somewhere else. Caleb Johnson's in that fringe, handcuff range, right? Let's say round 11. Is this a guy you're looking at?
dude, all I'm saying is you're looking at Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers led offense, dude. Like, get out of here. I don't want anything to do with that. I don't trust him in that. I don't trust any of them.
He's out. He is firmly out on the Caleb Johnson train. Darnell Mooney, 8th round. We can gloss over this one. The whole offense was a joke. Penix was terrible. He had that collarbone injury. They didn't actually disclose the injury, if you remember. It was a shoulder injury, they said, and it turned out he had a broken collarbone the whole year, Nico. So Darnell Mooney, it was he's not a good player anyway, right? You hate Darnell Mooney?
No, I was high on him coming into the season, but with the injuries, it obviously fell off. So I thought there was some hope there, but now going forward, I got nothing to do with it.
You've always been a closet Mooney lover.
I was before the season, dude, and I had him in a couple spots of all of my 3. But I got a dip in about 5 minutes here, man. I got some business to handle with the old lady upstairs.
Go dip now. Go dip now. Me and Tom will take care of it. Go dip now.
She's coming home with groceries, and I got to help her unload them.
Oh, all right. Tom, you going to finish the show with me?
I'm here for it. Let's do it.
He's earning his stripes. Yeah, Nico, go handle your business, and then give her the Nick sausage after that, and tell her Rob said that you have to do it.
I'm going to show her my O-face, but I don't think she wants to see it. I don't know. I'm just going to help unload groceries.
Have you ever showed her the O-face?
Oh. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
well, Mom
about.
also said for you to stop sticking your dick in the vacuum cleaner.
Hello? Hello? I said don't disturb you, I'm cleaning my room!
I gotta go clean my room.
Groceries at midnight? She's getting groceries at midnight?
They went to her and her sister went to Costco and then went to Meyer and now they're coming home. So yeah.
Oh, all right. She's gonna be frisky, dude. Frisky for that Nick O.D., dude.
They're all open.
Let's go. All right, Nico. Awesome. Thanks for connecting me to Tom. We got a new guy on the show. We got our crew. We'll talk to you soon. We'll talk to you soon.
Welcome to the program, brother. Hope to see you.
Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
All right. Good night, Ross.
All right. See you, buddy. Nico, what a nice guy. Ooh, look at we got a bigger picture of TD, this Sean McVay clone, as he once says.
Let me get wider.
Okay,
for
we're
the
going
camera.
to the list. We're going to the list.
Yep.
Just so you know, it's not uncommon for me to do 4-hour streams. Tonight I can't do that, but mostly because no one's really watching. And but in the regular season, I will do 4. I did one stream that it was 3 hours and 30 minutes solo, 30 minutes with a guest, and then he left. I did 3 hours and 30 minutes solo, 4 hours and 6 minutes. So
that's just you getting progressively hammered.
Yeah, but somehow I maintain pretty goddamn well. For the most part, it must be all that blow I'm sniffing off camera. So let's move on to we had Darnell Mooney, Brandon Ayuk. Jesus, he was in our intro with chips on his chest, sitting down in a chair. Brandon Ayuk is a bum. He's terrible. He sucks. It was all. Oh, guess what? He's coming back. He's good. Okay, no, there was Ricky Pearsall, there was George Kittle, there was Jawan Jennings, there's CMC. What a bad pick Brandon Ayuk was. I had 0 shares of Brandon Ayuk. I think I drafted him some early best balls before like the news dropped that like there was no news. And again, it was a Joe Mixon thing, right? No news and injured players is bad news. We don't want no news. I want fucking news, bro.
Right. I want to know if this guy's still hurt, how he's recovering, how he's progressing, what he's doing. Is he working with bands on the sideline? Like, give me something. And there was nothing with Ayuk. And at the same time, there was so much that wasn't football oriented with Ayuk. You throw in all the additional players that they have there, pass catchers. It was a lot. And for that reason, I was out. Like I had 0 shares of Brandon Ayuk, and I felt confident in doing that. And like, if it bites me in the ass, it bites me in the ass. But
do you have hope next season? Like, regardless, like, let's not speculate where he's going to go because it could be any team. It ain't going to be the Niners. Obviously, he's got a lot to play for because he cost himself 40, 50, I don't know the number. It's going to be a lot of money. Like in the 40s and 50s, millions of dollars he had guaranteed is gone. Dude's going to get probably a 1-year, $4 million prove-it deal at best. So it's one of those situations where it's put up or shut up for Brandon Ayuk. And I was never the biggest Brandon Ayuk fan. Nico loved him. Storey loved him. Did you love him, or was he a product of Kyle Shanahan?
I think he was, and again, it's easy to say in retrospect, but like you see what Shanahan does for these guys. He gets a hold of them and makes you from an average to good player to a great player. And I never saw the difference making ability in Ayuk. Like he didn't have one thing that he relied on. Kind of a jack of all trades. Like the route running's good. It wasn't super polished. He wasn't a burner. Like he wasn't a high point guy. Like he was just a guy. And I think the Shanahan system boosted him up. And I think he needs to be very, very speculative on where he goes next year to try to, elongate his career a little bit more and get some more money. Because like you said, he's taken a vet min 1-year prove it deal. And if you go to the Raiders, I don't think that's good for the longevity of your career.
Love it. I have to address I like to address trolls in the chat just because I can own them very easily. Nick's beard hides his dotty jawline. Nick has a good jawline. He's a manly man, so you're an idiot. Tom doesn't talk much, so he doesn't prove himself an idiot. I just met the guy. The guy's a goddamn football savant, so you're not obviously paying attention to the show. You're a fucking idiot. And then Rob vapes, so he because he's too much of a pussy to smoke cigarettes. I tried quitting cigarettes and I can't smoke in my house. So that would be the reason why. So I just owned you in all three of those. Good luck. You have a woman picture here. I know you're most certainly not a woman because women aren't trolls. You're a man living in your mom's basement who's a virgin. So congratulations on that. Come play in our fantasy leagues or just in general. Also, professionalfanatics.com. Join the Discord. Join the community because we'd love to have you. I love dealing with trolls that have no life. And congratulations to you. You got on the show. And you know what? God, round of applause for this fucking homo. Again, nothing against gay people. You know, nowadays it's awesome to be gay. It's actually celebrated, right, Tom?
We have a month. Cowboys fans in the gay community have a month together.
That's damn straight. That's well said. Where are we at here? We're at Trey Harris round 10, dude. Trey Harris round 10. That's a wild one because it was the noise. You know who the fantasy football counselor is, Tom? You ever seen that Guido?
Oh, yes, I have.
He's the shock jock. He just said every year he just says every rookie's the best pick, and then when 3 of them hit out of his 12, he says, "I told you so."
He takes his victory lap.
Every veteran. Yeah. He told you not to draft Puka, Jonathan Taylor, anyone that was good this year. CMC. He said not to draft, and then he says I don't understand. He doesn't like the difference in this show is I actually put every receipt, every show. I actually do acknowledge when I'm wrong. I said Colson Loveland was a bad pick by the Bears. It was a bad pick, period. And I'm wrong on that one. Colson Loveland seems to be the real deal. And I will admit when I'm wrong on every time I'm wrong. It's fine.
Yeah. Early ADP's got Loveland as the number 3 tight end. And I was a little taken back by that, but when you contextualize it all, it's like there's a reason.
Now for Loveland, it's more like, okay, third tight end's one thing. If it's in the 4th or 5th round, bad. If it's in the 6th or 7th round, maybe it's about where he goes in drafts. Probably too rich for my blood personally, but I just love the thing is in this industry, just in general, you're going to be putting a lot of things out there, right? So you're not going to get everything right. You know what I'm saying? Like my bets, I was 62%. I have been. That's still 38 or 40% wrong. So like you're not going to get everything right, but
it's a volume.
My thing is when you're right, you should be really right. Michael Wilson, Chris Olave, really right. When you're wrong, you want to be marginally wrong. Now, Justin Fields, big whiff for me. I'm going to own that one. There's a reason why Justin Fields was an easy pick in fantasy this year because we didn't see him losing his job. And that's what I said. It was Tyrod Taylor, 38-year-old quarterback. And somehow he lost his job because Justin Fields is apparently incapable of running an offense. But I didn't think it was going to be like that.
And the last sample size that we had from him was a productive 6-game stretch in Pittsburgh. It's like, did this guy figure it out? Was he just a product of the coaching staff and offense? We had a little bit of optimism coming off of Fields. And obviously, for fantasy purposes, the mobility aspect of a quarterback boosts you up in fantasy. So he had that rushing floor with what we assumed to be zero competition. I mean, I was high on Fields.
Yeah, and it was also just it wasn't that big of a miss because if you're smart about it, like most of us were, and I advised, and I drafted Matt Stafford and Trevor Lawrence and those guys because in a lot of leagues you don't want to draft second quarterback, but if you draft a guy like Justin Fields, for me it was mostly injury, right? Like he's probably more likely to get hurt than a Brock Purdy or a Dak Prescott. So you're like, I need to get a second guy also. Yeah, and I hate rostering 2 quarterbacks. But in certain cases, it makes sense. And if you did take Trevor Lawrence or Matt Stafford, it was actually a win. It was like a win by default because Justin Fields didn't work out. But if you had taken Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, you weren't taking Matt Stafford. You weren't taking a backup. And you missed out on that guy most likely. All right, we're going to move on to the back half of this list here. We have J.J. McCarthy, round 11. Again, this is underdog. So this is the underdog best and worst picks. So...
Right.
Wow. This is awful. Even at any point, JJ McCarthy, and remember the hype that was growing for JJ McCarthy in fantasy circles of like, well, we saw all these guys do it. We saw Sam Darnold be a 14-game winner and an awesome elite fantasy quarterback. We saw all these backups, Josh Dobbs do it. Like it was Nick Mullins was awesome for fantasy when he started. And it was like, of course JJ will do it. And it was quite the opposite of that.
Like I stand by it when I call him a handoff merchant from college, and it's kind of wild. Like when you think about it, if McCarthy never goes down, do we know that Sam Darnold fixed his issues? Like we probably do. We probably see McCarthy struggle, but when do they make that turn to Darnold if McCarthy's the starter from his rookie year on?
Week 9.
Yeah.
Maybe not. They were a better team last year though too, so they might have been like hovering, you know.
And that's the thing is you're not getting that 14 win sample size out of Darnold. If you get say Darnold comes in, goes 4-2, like Fields, like we've got a good enough feeling about him, but it's like no one's sold to sign him and make him their franchise starter. Seattle's definitely not.
Yeah, the what ifs in the NFL are just, I mean, just in life and are just go down the rabbit hole of these things.
Yep.
And again, JJ McCarthy can't play football. And I have hope for him just because he is 21 years old. He's 21, right? Maybe 22.
Right.
Super young.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming out. It was the opposite of what I said earlier. What I love about, certain college quarterbacks, Josh Allen's, Lamar, guys that play in bad programs, get their brains beaten in. You see what they are made of. And JJ McCarthy was the complete opposite of this, where it was like, okay, you have Blake Corum, you have an A+ offensive line, you have Colson Loveland, you have Roman Wilson, even, who I know wasn't a great NFL player, but again, a highly touted NFL prospect. You have playmakers,
Right.
and you have an elite defense, so you don't have to do anything to win the national championship. You threw Storey always brings this up on the show, is that JJ McCarthy threw like 18 passes and had like 120 passing yards, and he was signing the camera. Like, that's not cool, man. Like, it's like an NBA player who's like, goes 4 of 10 from the field with like 12 points and is like, "What up, bitch?" Like, no, bro. Like, give me something more than that, JJ McCarthy.
Give me something
I love the kid,
tangible.
local Illinois kid, 9 as they call him, but there maybe is
As
still
he
some
calls
hope. I think
himself.
he's a good buy low in Dynasty, but like, there's a lot of work to be done there.
Right.
And it's, if you can't do it, Kevin O'Connell, that's rough. Jaden Blue, round 12. This was a joke. This was the Javonte. He went 1 round after Javonte Williams. Really?
Yeah, again, there was so much speculation and ambiguity around that Cowboys backfield. It's you throw darts. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. So like, I understand the appeal to drafting Jaden Blue, but there was never enough traction there to make me feel confident about it.
He just doesn't. When you comp as a knucklehead and you're a third down back, those two things don't. The marriage isn't there. Like,
No.
LaQuint Allen is the opposite, right? I like LaQuint Allen. I feel like he is
Yeah.
a very, very, very good pass protector, and he is what you want from that position. And there also, LaQuint Allen was not fantasy relevant by a mile this year. He did nothing because that's not a great position to be in. Just being fast is not good enough, in my opinion. Jonnu Smith. This is partially because the trade happened really late and it was the Steelers thing. But even with Miami, that was a product of necessity of Mike McDaniel being like, well, Tua can't see the field. Tua can't throw downfield. We have no offensive line. Our offense is going to be 7 different little design screens to Jonnu Smith a game, and it's going to work. And it worked. But I love Jonnu Smith. I'm a Jonnu Smith truther from way back. Didn't work. Awful.
Yeah.
Not a good player. Cannot run a route. Jonnu Smith cannot run a route. He is just an athletic, undersized tight end.
Arthur Smith let us down again. Shock and awe.
Yeah, dude. Darnell Washington did okay. I mean, it was just too much to go around, but like, I don't understand the appeal of Jonnu Smith there.
It was a saturated room, and like, they all cannibalized off each other. You can't run a conducive NFL offense with 13 personnel 100% of the time. So they're mixing and matching tight ends. You hope to see a little bit more of the nuance and gadget design stuff for Smith. Like, you saw him take handoffs in Miami, hell, even in Tennessee. Like, dude's an explosive athlete. So it's like, you got to manufacture some touches to get him involved, and that never came to fruition.
No, I really hope Chickaconquo can find that role, because I'm a big Chickaconquo fan. I feel like they're similar players, right?
Yeah.
Just an undersized tight end, very, very good on the move, and get the ball in his hand. And where he was going was just always going to be too high. Jack Bash, this rookie love. Let's go back to back, 14-15, same team. Jack Bash and then Dante Thornton. Dante Thornton was the eye and the love of the fantasy football counselor partially because he had him on his show, and if he has anyone on his show, they're automatically be amazing.
They're
which
the
is just
best.
also bad strategy. Like, I get that I would probably do the same thing when I'm going to be respectful on the show with them.
Right.
But like, to tell your people to draft a guy just because you had him on your show. Dante Thornton went to Tennessee and had 28 receptions his senior year. Like, you don't go from 28 receptions when you're in college as the best player in a team to all of a sudden being a startable fantasy asset in the NFL, especially on the Raiders, dude. What the hell are we doing?
Tennessee receivers in general scare me because, I mean, you've got a laundry list. Well, not a laundry list, but you've got a good enough sample size of Tennessee receivers. Like, they get in there, they run fast, they run down the field, and they don't materialize in the NFL because they're not pro ready. Like, that's my stance on Tennessee wide receivers pretty much as a whole. When they come in with that size, speed, that long, deep shot profile, it's like you're not profiling as a good, competent NFL receiver. You're a guy
running
that's
backs
get
too, dude. The running backs haven't worked either. Like Jalen Wright, like there's been a lot of them that just haven't panned out, and the offense always works. But it's about like what's getting you ready for the NFL system and the NFL game. And that team, for whatever reason, it just doesn't work. It's almost like, remember how Texas Tech was that team back in the day, where you just the numbers were huge. Cliff Kingsbury at quarterback. And, you know, Michael Crabtree is maybe an example of a guy that kind of broke the mold. But I would say, all in all, would you say Crabtree was a bust all in all, or kind of just like return value? Because he had some epic years there with the Raiders and the Niners, but like he was that dude coming out. He was Marvin Harrison coming out of college.
Right. No, I think there was a lot of variance throughout his career. But when you look at it in totality, it kind of balances out the highs and the lows. But, I mean, let me hop schools in the state of Tennessee, go to Memphis. Memphis does their running backs right. They take receivers, convert them to running backs. You've got Pollard, Henderson, hell, going back to
Davis.
Ray Davis. Calvin Austin was, he's technically a receiver, but like they ran him at running back. Go back to the Carolina running back. Not Stewart, the other one. No, the other one. D'Angelo Williams. Came out of Memphis, and like Memphis is like they do something right with their running back room in the exact opposite way that University of Tennessee does wrong with their receiver room.
So it's the word factory. Like that, Memphis is a factory for that. The SEC in Georgia is a factory for linebackers, defensive players, right?
Yep.
Like LSU is a wide receiver factory. What's the opposite of factory? I'm trying to think of what Tennessee is. Like factory is actually not even a good connotation, right? Like they're a sweatshop. No, they're a sweatshop.
Yeah, there you go.
Tennessee's a sweatshop for wide receivers. And the best thing about the counselor is Dante Thornton was his boy, and Ashton Genty, he was drafting 3rd overall, 2nd overall, 1st overall. That's how high he had him. So he wanted to take 2, I know like 15th round for Thornton isn't a lot, but I'm saying you're going to say that like you're going to have 2 Raiders in your team when we all knew the Raiders were going to be dog shit this year. And like you're not factoring in Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, the guys that are actually pros in the team. It's just wild to me that like the community, like people listen to this guy. Get out of town. Anthony Richardson, round 16. Ugh. Do you like it? Okay, I gotta hear a take of Anthony Richardson because I am about Anthony Richardson. I am about him. I think he's the perfect reclamation project. I think he's 23 years old, dude. And not even, I'm not going to throw out there the names of Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith because those are different kind of players.
Right.
The fact is they were reclamation projects. This guy has the physical ability that is pretty much unmatched. It's Cam Newton-esque. Honestly, I would say that he has actually maybe more, I think he has a better arm than Cam Newton had. Cam Newton was more pro ready because he had more success in college. But when you throw around the name Cam Newton, you throw around these names. Now, the opposite end of the argument is Justin Fields, who had all those things, was pro ready, right? Ohio State, and he just is not. He's clearly done, right? He's never going to be a quarterback again. Is that where you're leaning more with Anthony Richardson? Is the Justin Fields end, or is it there is upside because he's so young and the physical gifts are undeniable, right? They're undeniable.
And that's the thing is you use that term undeniable, and you see like you said, the reclamation projects of the Geno Smiths, the Sam Darnolds. It's like, yeah, they were good enough, talented quarterbacks that you were able to get them to this point. Now you put Anthony Richardson through that same transformation, and you are getting a different skill set entirely that is manning your offense. And that's the thing that you can't turn away from is if this guy figures it out, if he gets in the right spot, he's going to be a monster. And it's kind of hard to pass up because the whole Kyle Pitts, Calvin Johnson thing, it's like, yeah, comparably, like they have the same physical skill set. You've got to unlock that in Richardson. And it looks bleak at this point, but the window's still there. So I'm for safety purposes, I'm going to be veering away, but like it's one of those things that I'm keeping a very close eye on because if somebody gets their hands on him and figures him out, fuck it. If you put him in a Shanahan offense, we're going to get what we thought we were going to get out of Trey Lance tenfold from Anthony Richardson. So like the opportunity is there, but it's got to pan out the right way because it could easily go wrong at this point.
Trey Lance is a good name because similar players, I think Anthony Richardson is a far better specimen, athlete, prospect. But
bigger, better
Trey
thrower,
Lance for me
sure.
is just over with. Like Trey Lance, I'm never giving a chance because he has just shown the inability to read an NFL defense, and so has Richardson. But Richardson's physical skill set is so far superior to what you're talking about with Trey Lance, and I feel like we all overrated Trey Lance's physical abilities. We did not overrate Anthony Richardson's physical abilities. We've actually seen it in the NFL. We saw that throw, that week one throw, 74 yards in the air. You know, he has some moments that are just unreal. And with the age, with what it's going to cost to get him, it seems like a slam dunk in the proper situation. Like, I'm not saying that a team, like, I think a team like the Raiders would be a good spot because why not just have talent, right? Just have talent. Like, yeah, he's not a good backup quarterback because you don't want to bring him in if Mendoza gets hurt, right? But like as a literally a project, and it's not a waste. Like certain guys are just a waste of a project. They don't do anything for you because you're not winning with them. I feel like there's some upside there, and like he's just so young, and the NFL gives up on these guys way too early. And I just wonder where he's going to go, what's going to happen, because I feel like the Colts. When I know he wasn't healthy, we don't know. We don't actually know if he was healthy after the band injury.
Right.
When, you know, and I feel like they should have gone with Riley Leonard over Phillip Rivers. But beyond that, like they showed you what they thought of Anthony Richardson. They're done with him. It's over. It's over.
I'll push back on the Raiders thing a little bit because I want more clear defined roles, and I don't want the Raiders staff to try to develop two quarterbacks at once. Like you're gonna have to get Mendoza up and ready. I would rather see Richardson go to the Steelers. Let him get some knowledge from Aaron Rodgers. McCarthy's he's an established coach. Is he the best coach? No, but like you've got more structure in place. And could you not see him in the black and gold, the black and yellow? Like he fits that mentality of when I think Steelers, that hard-nosed, gritty football.
Yeah, defensive football, a hard-nosed quarter. I mean, he's not a hard-nosed guy, but he could be. And just like mucking it up, right? Mucking up the game. What the Ravens did with Lamar Jackson, dude. Lamar Jackson would have been out of the league. As much as I love Lamar Jackson, if he went to the wrong team that used him wrong, they tailored everything to Lamar Jackson. And that's 100%. What it takes with Anthony. And again, I'm still a Justin Fields fan. Justin Fields has never once got that, right? He's never once had a coach in an organization be like, you're our guy, and not saying you're a guy starting. Like you're our guy, you're our franchise guy. We're gonna tailor our roster towards you and our offensive coordinator towards you. And if you do that in the proper, like Lamar Jackson is an all-timer now. And again, he has came a long way. Lamar has come a long way as a quarterback, as the highest passing rating in the NFL. That's just a fact. But is Lamar Jackson anywhere close to the best passer we've ever had in the NFL? I would argue he's not even top 50. You know what I'm saying? But somehow he's got to that point.
We've seen drastic improvement, and that can't be taken away from the guy. He was not a prolific thrower of the ball coming out of Louisville. But over the years, and like you said, tailoring that offense and that scheme to him allowed him to progress the way that he needed to. And 12, 16, 20, 25 other teams fucked that up for him. So he was the example of landing in the perfect spot and having a team commit to you. Fields hasn't had that luxury. And I'm still a little surprised for longevity purposes that the Steelers didn't hold on to him a little bit longer. He was playing well. He was getting good production, 4-2 when they benched him for Wilson. And like, was that just a whole him and Tomlin thing?
Decision.
Right.
Bad
You
decision.
had a guy.
For
You had a guy that
Russell
could have been your.
Wilson, who teammates hate, and is
Right.
he's 5'10". Like, no.
And-
That, in hindsight, that looks like a really bad decision. I said it in the moment, and maybe we're wrong because I feel like you're kind of a Justin Fields guy, like I am. Just I feel like he deserves a chance because his arm talent is good. Unfortunately, Justin Fields can't read a defense at all. But
No.
if you're smart enough as an offensive coordinator, you can kind of get past that just because you can, the strengths of what he brings in the other departments can retroactively kind of like make that mute. You know what I mean? Because like Lamar, you saw the first three years of Lamar, and I do believe Justin Fields is a Lamar level talent. I really do. I feel like he has a better, he's a stronger arm. Lamar's more accurate and Lamar's more shifty. Justin Fields is more athletic. Justin Fields is faster.
Right.
He's bigger. He can run quarterback draw better than Lamar can run. So
For sure.
I don't know how we got in this conversation. I just love, this is good football talk. Tom's a G. Anthony Richardson, we had that. And then last two picks, Damian Martinez somehow was drafted in the 17th round in underdog, and he got cut because of personal issues. And then Ja'Tavion Sanders, who, you know, he was the apparent starting tight end there in Carolina. I've always been a Tommy Tremble guy personally. I like Tommy Tremble, but those are just guys. And Ja'Tavion Sanders is a physical freak. He is a receiving tight end. He is huge, dude, but he is just not the guy. And you would think Bryce Young would be really, really in tune with his tight ends because he's so small. And that would be his like target, right? But like it just has never worked with Bryce Young. He's not a tight end dude. He doesn't throw to him.
No, which is wild because you think one, smaller quarterback, two, he's mobile enough, and one, he can't see behind the line. So getting outside on the move, throwing on the run, he's not the prolific scrambler, but like when you think about those mobile-esque quarterbacks that aren't hyper efficient in running, but are mobile enough to get away from pressure, you're looking for the tight end in the flat to dump it off to. And that has not materialized in Carolina whatsoever. And again, with Tremble there, Tremble's a guy that I like, don't love. Like I definitely think there's something there where he's a good enough NFL contributor, and he's one of those guys that's never going to be the blow you away starting tight end, but he's going to be a guy that will do enough athletically to cannibalize off of somebody else's production. And bringing Sanders in there, I think that's exactly what Tremble did.
You know, we talked a lot about tight ends moving and good landing spots for tight ends. I don't hear anyone talking about the Panthers for a spot for tight ends because obviously we know Tremble ain't the guy, and Sanders proved he's not the guy. So would this be a great spot for the Panthers to bring in a Kyle Pitts, and Isaiah Likely, one of these guys to just Bryce Young needs it, man. Like again, I'm not trying to act like I'm a Bryce Young fan, but I liked Bryce Young more than CJ Stroud coming out of the draft, and that looked really bad for a year. Like the worst call ever. Like I ate that shit for so long, and now it's like really close, right? See, like obviously CJ Stroud has more upside because his body type, his prototype, and his success of 3 playoff wins in 3 separate years. But Bryce Young has actually been on a steady. It's like a roller coaster, right? But it's steady climbing up to the peak. CJ Stroud's actually been the roller coaster in terms of his play, and he's never had a tight end. So you give him an Isaiah Likely, or even better, a Kyle Pitts with Ted McMillan, with Jalen Coker, who I love as a slot receiver. Like, give him some weapons because the guy has not had weapons. He's an awful offensive line and pretty bad offensive play calling.
One of the guys that you brought up earlier, I think in my mind is a great fit in Carolina, and that's Chig Okonkwo. I think he fits that offensive style and scheme well, and he's not going to break the bank. You're not going to have to spend what you're going to have to spend for Pitts, and that will leave you, money and flexibility where if you want to move on from Leggett, you can.
Leggett, man, another miss of mine, dude. Me and Storey love Leggett. I actually like Mingo too. So I don't know if it's these players or it's Carolina or both, but like Mingo, I feel like I can guarantee he's a miss just based on the fact that he couldn't crack the fucking Cowboys, your team's roster. But
we needed receiver help in a bad way. Like Jalen Tolbert wasn't the answer, and you couldn't get past him.
Hey Bob, I'll get to your comment here in a second. I love this question because we just talked about it the other day. Leggett's college film, he was such a monster. It was AJ Brown level shit, and in the pros he has been I'm not saying underwhelming in terms of statistical purposes. I'm saying he's been underwhelming physically. I have not seen him break a tackle. I have not seen him outrun anyone. And he is like, we know he's not polished, but like, if he's not doing these things, what are you offering to us, Xavier Legette, besides drops and knucklehead moves of like running out of bounds and then not reestablishing, like things like that? That's what he's been offering. And it's rough. So is Xavier Legette done? Is it done for?
I don't think he's done for, but I think you need a team to get a hold of him that will recognize and utilize the fact that you're not going to have him be this big physical X like everybody thinks he is, what he was drafted to be. Like, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as like him not using his true God-gifted physical abilities. Like, if I was his size, I would be murdering corners every chance I got.
You're 5'6". So
right. And I'm still going to try to murder a corner, but like, I don't have the ability to. He does, and he is not manhandling these guys as he should. Just to bounce the way that my brain works, like, this is the same way that I feel with Isaac Garendo. Like, you're a 235-pound back, you're a speed freak, and you're going down first contact? What are we doing? Like, you need to be bulldozing people. Like, yeah, you've got the ability to run around him, but when you've got a safety lined up in the open field, take him out, go through him. And it's just some guys that like lack that have the physical ability, that lack the knowledge and skill set to use it. It puts them in a hole where it's like, it's so much harder to figure these guys out and make a productive path for them. Because he's not like, Legette's not a burner. He's got good speed.
He's been way more successful in the slot, which is the wild thing. Yeah. It's like, but that's no team is ever going to be like, we're gonna bring in Xavier Legette to be our slot receiver. Right. Like, it doesn't work like that, and he is just ruining it. All right. So would you go buy Kyler Murray in Dynasty? I am very strong on my take here. I want to hear your take before I give you mine, because if you watch the show 3 episodes ago, we did a whole thing on Kyler Murray in Dynasty. I'll preface it with Kyler Murray is quarterback 20 or 21 in Dynasty right now. 28 years old.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen some quarterbacks, and maybe a little bit of a stretch here, but like, you saw Drew Brees is a smaller quarterback, Kyler, smaller quarterback. You saw Drew Brees have a good first 8 to 10 years in the league, and then he hit his stride. Like, he figured it out to a different degree, and that's when you saw his completion percentage just skyrocket. So I'm not saying that Kyler can't do it, but I think I've seen a lot to this point with the mentality aspect that he's not going to put in the work to get there. And even if the right coaching staff gets a hold of him and is like, hey, we're going to invest all resources into you, I don't know if he puts it on himself to make that happen.
I get all that, but if we were talking about quarterback 10 or quarterback 11, fair statement. We're talking about quarterback 20, quarterback 21 in Dynasty. We're a 28-year-old former number 1 overall pick that's been in the MVP conversation multiple times, that has led the Cardinals to the playoffs. Like, I understand that his physical abilities have diminished a little bit in terms of his athleticism, right? I understand that he is a knucklehead when it comes to being a leader and putting the work in, but he is a young dude, and quarterback 20, like, what's the downside? Because I feel like we have 1 year, the only 1 year fantasy points per game he's been under a quarterback 1 top 12 has been this previous year. Other than that, he's never once finished outside a quarterback 1 in fantasy. So, like, you're talking about quarterback 20. When we talk about CJ Stroud and why we're off him in fantasy, is because he doesn't bring us the fantasy element that works, right? He doesn't scramble. He doesn't throw downfield. He's very careful with the ball. Kyler Murray is quite the opposite. So, for fantasy, in real life Dynasty, he's out of my top 20, bro. But I don't give a fuck about that. I feel like the downside is small. The upside is immense, because the downside is he just flames out of the league and he's gone by 30.
Right.
That is the downside. The upside is he reclaims the Kyler Murray we know, right? Where he's inconsistent, which is fact. But I don't care. You're talking about in a super flex league, your quarterback 2. You're talking about your bench quarterback in a redraft dynasty, in terms of 1 quarterback dynasty. Right. And I don't know. I feel like it's all roses. Like I am buying him all day at 20 at that value if you can get him, because he is a guy people are giving up on because the optics are bad. People hate Kyler Murray, including both of us, including everyone probably in the chat. Like Kyler Murray is very hateable. That little, is he Asian? Is he Asian? Is that a little Asian dude? We don't even know what Kyler Murray is. He's a mutt.
He feels like he's got a sprinkle of that. Like
yeah, he's got a sprinkle.
He's
of
not
Asian.
full blown one way or the other. But let me preface it to you this way. One of the tantalizing things about Kyler was his mobility and his athletic running ability. And that provided him a safe enough floor. We've kind of seen that diminish a little bit. We heard it was going to come back. It did in flashes and instances, but it wasn't like we had a full quarterback running package involved with this offense as well. And that could be Kyler, that could be the coaching staff, a lot of things. But if that lack of mobility trend continues, does Kyler have the arm talent and ability to make it as to return value as a more pseudo pocket passer?
No. But remember how I said that, like the Marvin Harrison, I was giving Marvin Harrison a break, that maybe he just said, I'm not going to try hard or give a shit because I have Kyler Murray as my quarterback. Is there a world where Kyler Murray is like, I'm not going to give a shit or try hard or put the work in because Drew Petzing is my offensive coordinator and Jonathan Gannon's my head coach? These guys are incompetent. So, like, I'm just saying he's never had a good coach besides Cliff Kingsbury, who's not a good coach. He's a good coordinator. He's never had anything around him. So, like, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate of, like, why. And I think we know the reason why. He loves video games. I love video games. They're fun. I'm also not an NFL quarterback getting paid fucking hundreds of millions of dollars in my contracts. And you can play video games when you retire. But I just feel like quarterback 20, the question is buy, sell, or hold. It's got to be a buy, right?
I think I lean hold just to kind of like wait and see. I don't know if I'd be actively buying him just because there are so many ways that it can go wrong. If I have him, I paid a price for him, and I'm not ready to just throw that away because there is this potential of upside. But to like really put a bow on it, I think you hit the nail on the head with the fact that it's the mentality thing. And when you go back to, hey, because Petzing is this way, I'm not going to try. I think that ties back to you're an NFL quarterback, and with the way that things are leaning right now, like you might not get another fair, true shot. Why are you not giving it your all to make Harrison, the guy that he is, just for yourself? Give yourself another chance at a contract that you're not going to have to go to the Jets on a 2-year deal, and now you're dead forever.
It's totally fair. I just think that, like, fantasy is one of those games where you Ricky Bobby it. If you're a good fantasy player, a smart fantasy player, like we are, like we want our chat to be, this is a winning move, right? Like if you're not good enough to overcome whatever you have to trade for quarterback 20 at value, and it's going to cost you years, then you aren't going to win anyway. If you're savvy and you want to play this aggressive mode of fantasy, which you can do with your other moves as well, this is a move that could win you a championship. It really could. If he returns, if he gets back to the Kyler we know, which wasn't even that great, it was a top 10 quarterback in fantasy.
Right.
With what you're giving, this is a Ricky Bobby move, and it's actually not even that much downside. That's how
it's low risk, high reward for sure. Yeah, low risk, high reward for sure. And when you take out all the additional shit on top of it, it is low risk, high reward, and those are the types of moves that we want to make in fantasy because that's what brings us from good to great. That's what gets us into the dance, into the playoffs to potentially win that championship. So you've convinced me a little bit more. I'm leaning a little bit more towards the buying aspect because there is so little downside for the price that you're paying. So I'll give it to you. You've changed my mind enough on that to the point where I hate
Kyler Murray. I hate him. I think he's awful.
No,
like I don't think he's a good quarterback. I don't think I think he's a bad leader. I think he's a bum. I think he's a fucking moron. I'm just telling you, like fantasy is different. Like you can be bad and be good in fantasy, and that's Kyler Murray. That's always been Kyler Murray.
And like you just laid out all those things that we don't like about Kyler Murray. That's my mentality, and maybe that's something that I need to adjust in. My viewpoint is like I wasn't looking at that potential sliver of value that he can provide in a big way because I was just like, I'm so done with Kyler Murray because of X, Y, and Z.
I'm done with him too. I don't want him on my team. I definitely don't want him on my dynasty team. But if it was quarterback 15, different story. I'm going to end with this one, dude, just because you're new to the show. Real quick, I got to ask you this question because I didn't ask you this to start it off. I love asking all my new guests this. Movie boob virginity, right? So you're 30. You're not that young. Who did you lose your movie boob virginity to? The first boob you saw in a movie, obviously you're 30, so porn wasn't quite what it is now. You didn't have an iPhone to look at porn when you were a kid. Who was the first tit you saw? It's a good question. I know.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's a tough one too.
You don't know it off the top of your head? That you don't know?
I don't.
I don't.
I definitely do not. I mean, I definitely stumbled onto porn at an earlier age. So that could have.
But I'm pretty sure you saw a tit before you saw porn, right?
I definitely did. Fuck, I can't even think of the movie. But what's popping into my mind is something flight oriented where it was on a plane and two people were getting it out. It was a little bit older of a film.
Dude, I want to go on your flights you were going on fucking when you were a kid.
No. This was the movie. It was
Tom walked into a bathroom and saw the Mile High Club. Some dude fucking his assistant.
It was wild.
That's what you saw.
Scarred forever. I don't fly on planes anymore.
For you. We all know that like tits, obviously the 80s tits were in every movie, right? But like,
right.
You know who the first dick ever shown on screen was in terms of like mainstream movies?
I don't.
Richard Gere dropped dong. I believe it was 1976 or 78 in American Gigolo. Full frontal, man. It was almost sidle. It was so full sidle. That was the first dick we ever saw. Yeah, okay. Richard Gere. So good for him. All right. That was a good one. Last thing to leave you on, I got to hear your opinion on TreVeyon Henderson because I have been very, 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 very harsh on TreVeyon Henderson, the player. Hated him coming out. I had a couple shares of him just because he dropped like the end of the 4th round. It worked out a little bit. People were telling me he's a league winner, and then look what happened, in the fantasy playoffs and beyond that.
Yeah.
Bad player. My take, I think he's awful. I think he is one of the worst. I can't believe it was a first round pick. He's very fast. He's pretty big. Give me your take on TreVeyon Henderson going forward. Player profile. Do you like him? Is there hope, etc.?
The size speed profile I liked coming out of college. The Jahmyr Gibbs comps, I wasn't there. I think he lacks in the explosive element and the gear changing ability that Gibbs has is different. And not to say that Henderson isn't big, strong, fast.
No. He doesn't have any gear changing ability. Okay.
Right. He's a steady accelerator, and he's in a different light, but like in the same way, like you don't see Henry just change speeds. Like you just see him naturally accelerate. And these are obviously different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, he's Derrick Henry.
Right. But you see Gibbs you see Gibbs put his foot in the ground and just blow past people. So I'm like, I wasn't there. The going to the Patriots, Vrabel not being huge on rookies. So like I liked the skill set, and I didn't think Ramondre was the guy. So I saw the upside with Henderson, had some exposure to him. And in my biggest league, it was a roller coaster of emotions because I drafted Henderson in the 4th. And he was my running back too. And I was fighting with it. Thankfully, I had Rico and some other pieces that I was able to interchange Henderson with, so he wasn't just dragging my team down. But the week before the Stevenson injury came about and Henderson took off, I dropped him to pick up RJ Harvey because the other guy dropped Harvey. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I can't keep holding on to Henderson, holding out hope. I'm like, worst case scenario, we do a Browns 1 through 5, you can't keep that player because it's a 2-quarterback league, and we don't want quarterbacks just being fucking, congregated there. So Harvey was drafted in the 6th round. I'm like, worst case scenario, he pans out. He's a keeper. Dobbins is gone next year. I'm like, this is the smart move for my team. And I had a very competitive team. And so me and the guy that dropped Henderson and Harvey essentially switched players. He picked up Hendo, and Henderson started going off. And that basically led TreVeyon Henderson to a championship, him to the championship, riding the back of Henderson. And I was getting good production out of Harvey, so I wasn't super upset, but it was like, man, I dropped him right before he went off. And then fantasy playoffs hit. And He's got a good team. I've got a good team. We're on opposite sides of the bracket. We both work our way to the championship, and I end up beating it. Like, he got to the championship and to the playoffs because of Henderson, and then Henderson kind of fell flat on his face. So I ended up beating him in the championship, and I was ecstatic about that. But it was just kind of interesting to see these, like, the roller coaster of emotion that I went on with Travion Henderson. And
isn't it a 10-team league, or why are people dropping Travion Henderson and RJ Harvey?
so it's a 12-team,
4 bench
2-quarterback
spots?
league, but we have roster limits, which makes it incentivizes trading a lot more because you can only roster 4 running backs. And when you've got a guy
I
that's
fucking hate that. I fucking hate that shit. That's so
I-
stupid, bro. I want to roster 8 running backs.
I hated it going into it, but because everybody in the league is so active, it incentivizes
Don't
the trading
defend
aspect.
it. Don't defend it. That's a loser
No,
league, bro. I love you, but loser league.
No.
Don't
I'm here
limit what I can do. It's America. I can do what I want.
Right.
I can roster 9 running backs. I want my whole bench to be running backs. That's how I operate. I want handcuffs and shit, dude.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. So Tyler Algier is just always in the wire in that league. And then whoever
No.
has the higher waiver priority wins the league when a guy comes up.
At times, like the quarterback shift, like that's the reason that I don't like. So we run a 12-team 2-quarterback league, and we roster 3. So 4 teams right off the rip are rostering backup quarterbacks that you're hoping are going to get a starting job or hoping for injuries,
That's
whatever.
weak. That's weak, bro.
That's the only like real issue that you get into is like if you have a quarterback that goes down and you don't have the ability to pick up a backup on waivers, like you're pretty much fucked. And that's been the biggest thing.
I'm a fantasy purist. That is not fantasy purist, bro.
No,
that is weak. That is weak.
Which is why
all
that's not the only league that I play.
It leads to chaos. It leads to chaos.
100%.
Fantasy has enough chaos, right? I want the best team, the best player to win the league. And I'm guessing the commission of this league is not good at fantasy. Am I correct?
Again, you have that chaos element to it. So like the commissioner's won time or two before.
He's bad. That's a nice way of him saying he's bad. I get it. I get it. You don't have to fucking sugarcoat it. It's fine.
I think you might know him actually.
Who is it?
Matt Galloway.
Matt Galloway from St. Charles?
From St. Charles.
Matt Galloway, like the mechanic Matt Galloway?
Like Matt Galloway, the mechanic.
You know Matt Galloway?
I fucking love Matt Galloway.
I love Matt Galloway too. I bowled with him for years.
Yep.
How do you know I know him? How did you know I know him? Just because we're the same age?
No, because he told me that he knew you, and apparently you would talk to him at one point about fantasy or like coming on the pod or something like that. And he reached out to me and he's like,
would run a league like that. Fucking Matt. Dude, Matt's a great guy. What a great guy. Okay, I take back what I said about,
that's why
I don't. I love you, Matt. Your fantasy prowess sucks. You're a great guy. You and your sleeveless shirts. I fucking love you, Galloway. That's hilarious that you're in Matt's league, dude. What a guy. I
that's
love
my
him.
longest.
He's in here
league.
every once in a while. No
Yeah.
shit. How much is the buy-in?
$50.
How? That's so much work for $50.
It is. But again, like it was what got me hooked on fantasy when I think I was 15 when I started playing in that league. So I mean,
Shit.
I can't quit it. It's all the community and the players in the league. Like it's that.
No, I get it.
More,
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a home league. That's what you definition of a home league, right? Of like with your buddies.
Right.
Maybe I'm just jaded in my ways. I play, a lot of Fantrax public leagues where there's no trading and they do take a cut, but like I can't play. Home leagues take a lot of effort, right? And like a lot more than what I'm talking about. And I can't. I have my home leagues I play in, but the effort, I only have so much time in waivers and trades. I'm at a disadvantage playing in home league, like a lot of home leagues. I play eight home leagues. Playing 25 home leagues is impossible because these guys are playing 1 or 2 leagues. You're going to get fucked on those leagues. So that's just fucking hilarious. Fucking Galloway comes up. I love Matt Galloway. Tom D, first appearance on the show. You made it 3 hours and 23 minutes, man. What a long show. I didn't think it was going to go this long, but that's a proper introduction because this is kind of what we do around here. And this wasn't even a chat centric show, obviously, because it's February 14th and no one's paying attention to the NFL besides us sickos and some of my main big followers. So, dude, awesome. You're fucking the GOAT. I appreciate you. What a great show. And I'm glad to have you aboard, man. I'm gonna have you as you want to come on. Nick O, shout out to Nick O for the show. He hooked us up and he said that
Also
this
the
guy knows
GOAT.
ball. And I was a little bit hesitant because, you know, a lot of people think they know ball, but they really don't. You know ball. Clearly, you probably know more ball than me. I'm just the better host. You know, I have a mustache. So.
You do, in fact, have a mustache.
Thanks, you fucking asshole.
Yeah.
All right, man. What a show. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to the supers. Appreciate all you guys. No show tomorrow night. That is Valentine's Day. I got to take my wife out to a nice dinner and get some fucking fine-ass pussy. Hopefully.
Hell yeah.
We'll see. I mean, Valentine's Day, if I can't get it, then I should probably get divorced.
Then you're in trouble. But fingers crossed for you.
Yeah, I'll send you guys a video in the Discord. Tom, join the Discord. I'll send a video, a POV of my nice 6-inch penis going inside of her. It'll be great. That's the goal. All right, appreciate everybody in the chat, in the community. Tom, you for coming on. Nick O for introducing us. All those things. Love your life. Stay positive. Respect each other. We're out. Tom, I'll talk to you soon, my dude.
Yes, sir.
Later, boys.
Just seemed like a good dude. I thought I'd see if you wanted to grab a beer, that's all. I'm glad you called. We get home safe, Pistol.
You got it, Jobin.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
Oh, what'd you say?
I don't know. You nicknamed me Pistol, and I just called you Jobin. It means nothing. I'm drunk. I'm gonna call a cab.
All right, man. You have my number, yeah?
I got you stored in my iPhone.